Esports Open. I'm your host, Frankie Ward, and this show is all about Brawl Stars. And if you can't tell your Poco from your M.E.O, your Sandy from your Shelly, or your Tick from your Brock, do not panic, because I'm going to be joined by a panel of experts who will have you talking the talk and brawling the walk in no time. And in fact, I'm just gonna throw over to them right now because it's an absolute treat to get to spend these few hours with them because I haven't got to see them in person for a while. So Ark, Trid and Falcone, welcome to Rebel M.E.O. Trid, I'll come to you first. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing absolutely amazingly, Frankie. It's great to be back doing M.E.O again. Didn't get a chance to tackle Brawl Stars last time around, but it's a game I picked up in the last year, so I'm super excited to see what these guys bring.
And Ark, you were actually in season 1. You unfortunately didn't pick up the W. Team Consti did. You're laughing there. I don't know if it's good laughter or maybe you're a bit sad.
It's taken me an entire year, Frankie, to get over the loss. But nevertheless, back here today for more fun and games. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what these teams bring to the table today.
And we've got a newcomer in Falcone. We've got to welcome him to Red Bull MEO because unfortunately he wasn't part of the party last year. But he's come to spice things up a bit. Falcone, how long have you been playing Brawl Stars for?
I've only been playing Brawl Stars since towards the end of last year, but I absolutely have fallen in love with the game. Like these other guys here, I'm a part of the Supercell Brawl Stars productions, and now we are all here to do some commentary over the M.E.O. It's going to be some good games, I'm sure.
If you were a brawler, Falcone, what brawler would you be?
If I was a brawler, I would be El Primo because I'm really strong.
You're a tank.
That's a lie. That's an
You can tell on camera. Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. Who are you? I think I'm a Dynamite. Everyone's laughing at me. No one thinks I'm and slightly explosive, unpredictable. That's just when I've eaten beans. I'm feeling too much about myself right now, so instead we're just going to move on to the schedule before I just lose it completely, because you know what, quarantine, it's hard on all of us, isn't it? But at least we get to spend some of this time together and get through it together. So coming up on the show, we're going to be showing off 2 of the group stage matches. That's going to be Jupiter versus Stars and AAA versus Wave. Do bear in mind, in this format, we don't lose anyone before playoffs, so don't panic if you're here to cheer for your country, your home nation, because you will get to see them play at some point. And then of course we've got our playoffs, and our number 1 team are going to be taking home a whopping 10,000 euros. It's a pretty impressive prize pool for Brawl Stars Ark.
Yeah, really impressive. I mean, it's always great when there is a decent prize pool to play for, because teams will bring their A game when there's money involved, and that goes a long way. A lot of these players might have YouTube channels and various other things, so they really want to kind of get that most amount of money to invest back into their passion.
Basically, you last year, Ark.
Frankie, when are you going to stop twisting the knife on this guy? Give him a break.
Yeah, you know what? That sounds like the best chance to actually throw to an amazing video from the lovely Freya. She's going to explain all about Brawl Stars if you're new to it or if you're in need of a refresher. So take it away, Freya.
Brawl Stars is a 3v3 MOBA esports title. Here, players can choose between a variety of brawlers, some rarer than others, all with their own unique mechanics, appearance, and stats. Each brawler also has their own super ability, charged up by dealing damage to enemies. There are a variety of different game modes, but here at Red Bull MEO, players will compete across 5: Gem Grab, Brawl Ball, Bounty, Heist, and Siege. Gem Grab sees a gem mine in the middle of the arena, which produces gems every few seconds. The objective for each team is to collect and hold 10 gems between all players. If a player dies, however, they will drop all of their gems, giving the enemy team a chance to pick them up and steal the win. But don't worry, if you die, you'll respawn a few seconds later back in your team's spawn base. In Brawl Ball, a ball will start in the middle of the map, and players must take the ball and score a goal in the other team's nets. Whichever team scores 2 goals first wins. Bounty is where the money's on your head, quite literally, as every player starts off with a 2-star kill bounty. The objective is to have collected the most stars at the end of the match. And when a brawler is killed, the killer's own bounty is then increased by 1 star. This is reset back to 2 if they die. Heist is all about protecting your safe, which each team starts with on full health. If one safe is taken out, the team who destroyed the safe takes the win. However, if the round timer ends and neither safe is destroyed, the team with the highest remaining health take the victory. Finally, the objective of Siege is to destroy the opposing team's home base. However, you must simultaneously defend your own.
Thank you so much for that explainer, Freya. Parents, if you're watching with your kids, just ask them if you've got any questions during the show, because I like the fact that we can all watch this together while we're in quarantine. Right now, though, I'm going to talk you through the format. As I mentioned earlier, we kick off with a round-robin group stage, and no one is going home from the group stage. We split out 8 teams into 2 groups of 4, so all the teams can play each other, and they're playing to determine seeding. So, the number 1 team from Group A will face off against the number 4 team from Group B, and so on and so forth. You get the picture. But how the match is going to work? Well, it's a best of 5 for each series, but it's not best of 5 in the traditional sense, is it, Falcone?
So it's a best out of 5 sets, but each set is a series of best out of 3 game. So, or as Trid would say.
Oh, I was going to say, for you boomers, it's tennis rules.
There we go.
Spoken by self-professed boomer Trid there. So I think we're going to take a look at one of those group stage matches first, and it's going to be Jupiter from Japan versus Stars, who are our Brazilian team. They chose the maps Gem Grab was going to be our Crystal Arcade, Sandy Gems for Heist, Snake Prairie for Bounty, Backyard Bowl for Brawl Ball, and Factory Rush for the newest mode, Siege. So talk me through what we're seeing here, boys. This is the first map mode. This is Gem Grab.
Yeah, so it's on Minecart Madness, and this is one of the more interesting maps available in the pool. If you've noticed already, you can see the minecarts traveling through. That will deal damage to brawlers, so it's something you have to be conscious of on this map and pay extra attention to, while on top of everything else that you'd have to do normally in a match.
Yeah, it looks like Jupiter have got really nice control of this game at the moment, stepping out of the way of the minecart, but they seem to have the center of the map completely under control. Stars are sort of trying to push their way forward, but Jackie just gets eliminated immediately, and they're not finding much leeway here.
It's definitely one of those maps which the pros kind of don't tend to all like, to be completely honest. That minecart does add an element of randomness and RNG, so it's kind of a bit of a funny kind of like thing in the community where when this map does come up, the pros tend to kind of like crease when it comes up.
Yeah, pros aren't too fond of the RNG. And I mean, I'm just having a look at what we got here. The Tara and the Jean, quite standard for this map. I mean, Jackie, I don't think we've seen a lot of in the Brawl Stars Championships so far. Not as consistently, sorry, as Jean and Ems, who seem to just getting so much game time in the last month or so.
Yeah, Jackie's been banned quite frequently, mainly because of the fact that she is a newer brawler. It's kind of one of those things when something new comes into the game that players would like to have more time to kind of get their heads around in that respect. But, you know, she is a very strong brawler, although you don't have to really kind of aim with her. She has got a lot of HP, and that will keep you alive for a longer period of time than most other brawlers.
So this game is looking like it's actually really close. Although Jupiter are only 1 gem away from having that full 10, if they can grab it, which it looks like they do, they now just need to get away from that Rosa, and it looks like they've managed to do that.
There's
the
that
minecart takes Rosa out.
Yeah,
oh,
that minecart just absolutely demolishing them. And I mean, this is the thing you're going to notice with the gem grab games, is that once teams hit 10, they're going to end up obviously backing off into this corner and really trying to just play defensively. They don't need to go on the offense, and as you saw there, that's going to be Jupiter picking up the first game. So they pick up 2 more games, then they'll take the map and move further down this series.
Yeah, just it was a really solid game as well. I mean, there was nothing crazy going on there. There were no unnecessarily battles being taken by Jupiter. They just had really good control over the middle, stepped back when they needed to, came back forward to make sure they got the 10 gems first, and then just escaped with them.
So game number 2 coming up real quick, and like adaptations coming in, you can actually see that The side of Stars have tried to mirror the composition, but they've thrown in the Rosa instead of the Jackie, so they're going to hopefully get up close and personal. I don't know Ark about this one, because like Rosa versus Jackie, who's actually going to win in like the head-to-head if it's just mano and mano on that?
It's definitely a close call. I would say for me, the best change was actually changing to that Gene. As you can see there, that pull bringing in those gems. I think the poker wasn't really working for them as a gem carrier. It depends with regards to the Rosa Jackie interaction here, and we see the Rosa popping super. That is going to make a big difference, because that additional shield is going to provide a lot more HP. And then you see Jackie very low on that left-hand side.
And
Yes,
yeah,
so this is looking like a much more successful game for Stars so far, with 5 gems and still quite good control of the battlefield. Make that 6 gems. Jupiter have got some work to do to take this one back.
yeah. So I think the M's just going to walk forward here, use that area of control to try and buy some damage, just free damage onto the opponent, get that frag. And the thing about this is like the Gene's already got that that gem economy. He's just able to sit back, and with the mid control, the rest of the team's exerting. It's really difficult for Jupiter to come back into this one, especially considering that Stars have got the brush to play around as well, so it's very easy for them to maintain the control and just walk away with the victory here.
Absolutely true. I mean, even just having your super as Gene as well, it makes it very scary to push up towards it, because you can basically just pull in a brawler, get some more shots, and cycle to your next super. The Gene pick for me definitely was the tide changer for that game. Poker was not working.
Yep. Gene was out of there, and that goes to show why you want to have one gem carrier with all 10 gems. Your teammates can go slow the opponents down. We saw Ems using the super, which really did slow the other team down. And although the Ems got eliminated in the process, it bought the Gene enough time to escape with all the gems and just take that game away.
Yeah, the deed was done ultimately, and yeah, it's going to tie out. Well, not tie out. It's best of 5 on these maps on an individual basis, is it not? So they've got to get those 3 wins before they can continue to progress. So we're guaranteed to see a 4th map of Minecart Madness coming into this one.
Yep, definitely. No team change. Oh, we actually got Nita appearing here on the right-hand side. That's going to be an interesting interaction. Watch out for her gadget. What that does is that when the Nita bear is in close proximity to the opposition, you can basically activate your gadget. It will provide a shock that will stun your opponent. It's a very strong gadget. Definitely one not to be underestimated in the current meta for sure.
I mean, that's sort of part of like a wider conversation, because I mean, gadgets are relatively new to the game. Just going back to the Nita example, a lot of these players are comboing the deployment of their bear, Bruce, which is their super, and immediately popping the gadget to get that fast stun rather than relying on Bruce catching up, because it is quite easy to kite or get away from Bruce when he's out on the field. So you want that fast reaction coming out here. And like I was briefly touched on, gems are a new addition to this one, and not gems, sorry, gadgets are a new addition to this one, so a lot of players are still trying to figure out what's working. It has really shifted the power dynamic of a lot of brawlers.
Oh yeah, the meta has entirely changed. I mean, Ark, you'll be the expert at this. I'm nowhere near it as proficient as you at Brawl Stars to explain it, but I've been interviewing the players over the last week, and yeah, they were all saying the meta has entirely changed, and it's all because of gadgets.
Absolutely. You see that bear being thrown there, just as Trid said would happen there. Gadgets have made brawlers that weren't necessarily meta. Gene, for example, now having that additional ability to knock back opponents, it makes people change the way that they play a brawler and choose to pick that brawler for the comp. So we're going to be seeing a very big difference from what we saw in previous months meta-wise, and definitely seeing some new faces making an appearance which would have perhaps not been so prominent before.
Okay, so I'm going to point out something that I just saw that I thought was actually really cool. So the decision there by Madridster to actually go on the Rosa, go aggressive on M.E.O on the Gene, because Gene had super up, right? And if M.E.O on the Rosa can get up close and personal, can force Gene out of range of your 2 gem carriers, one carrying 8, one carrying 2, you can stop him from using his super to pull them out of the safety of the spawn, away from their team, and it actually makes the reclamation of these gems so much easier to do. So by going aggressive with the Rosa, you push him out of range. He now no longer has one of the most important tools of Gene to actually try and save the day for his team. So I love that play at the end there by Madridista to go ahead and force that out.
Yeah, just a very nice, comfortably won game from Stars, and I'm quite impressed, because we were thinking after the first game, Jupiter winning so easily, it looked like Jupiter were going to maybe stomp this match, but Stars have made a real comeback here, and It's going to be cool to see how this one progresses.
Yeah, Jupiter are
Yeah,
a very
it was-
strong team as well, but it's worth saying, yeah.
Well, I mean, Jupiter have been representing the APAC region in the Brawl Stars Championship, which is the premier competition that constantly runs. So we've moved over
They're
to...
currently second place in terms of the global leaderboard for Brawl Stars Esports, which is worth noting. They're joint second along with Code Magic Purple. So yeah, Jupiter are one of the top teams out there.
Yeah, absolutely. As Stars, we haven't actually had a look in on that on the slightly larger stage, but there definitely seems to be one to look out for in this competition. And Frank's going to go forward, and there's that gadget from Gene pushing him back and buying some more space. You don't want to allow Frank to get up close and personal on that, because his range and his combo, just relentless attacks, are actually very oppressive. So you want to make sure you're keeping that space at all times. That's something that, as Ark has mentioned earlier, Gene is extremely proficient at.
Yeah.
Oh boy, it was starting to look like they were just going to run that ball in there, but the respawns came out just
Oh,
in time.
no!
Wow.
Okay, so that gadget stun, Bruce the bear was able to stun Frank, who is this giant hunk of a man, out of his own super. That doesn't come back. That just gets absolutely wiped off in a raise. So great cancellation there. Those small little micro parries are going to make the world of difference.
Yeah, great cancellation. And one thing to note is that Frank can actually counter the cancellation with his gadget. I believe. I'm still learning actually the mechanics of what Frank can cancel out. But he's got a gadget, he's useless there, which will actually deter any of those shots. Could be a goal here as well. It is. Nicely done.
Yeah. It makes him immune to crowd control, so that's things like your stuns or your displacements. Very momentarily, has a brief window of execution.
Yeah.
And the thing with gadgets are they have finite uses. You only get 3 per round, so you're not going to be able to use them very much. You have to be very calculated when you use them. And because Frank can generate his supers quite often if he's dealing damage, you're not going to be able to rely on that to make sure it goes through. So you want to make your super usage right in front of the goal really important, because it's going to break that terrain and enable an open goal before overtime.
What an amazing gadget use there to cancel out the ball being carried by the Frank there, and that turned that one around. Worth pointing out as well, like brawlers like Ems have got a great gadget for knockback, but Ems and Crow, I believe, they're the only 2 brawlers that can only use their gadget twice in a game. So just something to bear in mind, but definitely look out for Ems on the defense. That gadget can come in very, very crucial in those moments as well.
It's just insane. Gadgets have only been around for, you know, a month or two, and just seeing the impact that they've had on this game as Stars do take the win. And it was looking like they were going to get 2 goals a couple of times there, if not for the gadget. But still, Stars very comfortably in the lead there. I believe that's the first game in the second set going to them.
Absolutely, they're storming away with this one, Dan. And I love what they did at the end there as well. If you notice, they weren't trying to play for the goal. They had the 1 goal advantage, and it's first to 2 goals in Brawl Ball, or unless the timer runs out.
Yeah.
They held onto the ball and put it into the back left corner. Now,
Brilliant.
They're not trying to score. They're just trying to keep it away from the opposing team, knowing that there was finite time on the clock, that if they just keep them away, they're not going to have the time to get possession and get to the goal safely and capitalize on it.
An interesting switch up here. We've got very tanky comps coming in from Jupiter, Rosa and a Primo and a Poker. So they're going with the double tank heal strategy. I wonder whether it will pay off for them. Actually, no, it's actually a mirror comp, I've just realized. Both teams just going with the same comp.
It's an absolute slambulance arc. They're just sending these beefy boys in them and then having the heals come in. And look at that. Perfect CC chain off the back of it. There's nothing they can do. They're all locked up. No opportunity to cancel Frank's super. So they're able to just get an easy goal off the back of it.
Trademark
that super was
slambulance.
just disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Going through everyone. And now the battle for the ball begins again. El Primo sneaking up the rear. Doesn't quite have any impact, as there you go, there's the second goal. Stars take the second set. Oh my goodness.
Very quickly done.
I think that's just the nature of Brawl Ball, though. Like I said, it's first to 2 goals or it's the timer. If those 2 goals come fast, you have incredibly fast rounds, and again, that's Brawl Ball out of the way. So right now, as the series stands, Stars are leading 2-0 in the set.
Oh man, I love Brawl Ball, guys. Like I love playing it, I love watching it, I love how it can just be over just like that, a blink of an eye. Brawl was really fun, but let's move on over to some Bounty, which could be the final set of this first series.
I love
Could
this
well
map
be.
as well.
What, Canal Grand?
Oh, it's Frank's favorite map from the team as well, and yeah, it's got some really interesting sort of playability.
That's Frank the developer, by the way, not the
yeah,
character.
specify that. Yeah, Frank's
it's kind of
game
both,
lead.
right?
Yeah, not the
Oh
Brawl.
yeah, it's modeled after him. He's an absolute Chad. Like,
it just really swaps up the gameplay. Like, as you can see, a lot of interaction going from left to right as opposed to up to down, and it does turn the game on its head a little bit. And great start. They got to say from Jupiter 5 stars in the lead already, with a lot of bush placements by Rosa for healing purposes as well. So good start for them.
yeah, that's the combo of Rosa's super and her gadget. The gadget's going to allow her to place those brush, obviously a finite amount of brushes per round, but then her super allows her to passively heal at a higher rate than other brawlers when she's inside brush. There's good synergy there with her kit.
Yeah, Rosa, definitely terrifying close range. You don't want to be walking into one of the bushes that she's made and find her in it. Most teams would typically know where she is on the map, but that Rosa just got eliminated there as only 2 stars ahead, but this time Jupiter in the lead. They might be taking their first game in a little while if things keep up like this. They just want to try and stay safe and stay alive.
So one thing to remember about this is, like, you're not safe unless you have at least a 6-star lead. Purely because if there's 2 stars per brawler, if you haven't got any kills in them, it can swing at minimum by that much if you just like ace the team and get rid of them all. So no one is safe in bounty, because if you just get comboed, that's it. You lose control incredibly fast. So with 15 seconds remaining, stars have got control of the game, and now Jupiter have to go on the offensive.
Yeah,
And they're just going to run away. They don't have to fight. They don't have to fight this. They can just leave.
Oh.
And look at that.
Sandy getting a little bit close there, but Rosa comes in defense. 12-9. Stars do take that one, and yeah, it's just a comfortable win. The thing is about bounty is that we see this quite often. Not that many fights happen. One team gets the lead, and then they just spread out nicely so that the other team can't get a look in, and they just try and defend, and it works out nicely for Stars there.
I mean, we sometimes see 2-star score lines in these matches where
Right.
they just get an early kill and then no one does anything for the entire game. So,
Or even someone grabs the center star, and then everyone just runs away.
yeah, because you've got to be so conscious of the threat you're putting in, because on a lot of these maps you typically see longer range brawlers because they can deal that damage from further away. But I think these guys wanted to get control of the mid and really hold the dividers, because obviously you can't have full access or full sweep across the map right now because of the canals down the middle. So mid is so important about having that free movement around the map should you need to switch from offense to defense quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really quite odd to see this brawler comp being used by both teams, actually, because you know, a Piper, a Brock, you know, Tick, various other options would be what I would be thinking to go for, but it is working. However, in the last game we saw, like, that ability to be able to run away when you're in the lead could go against either team in those final moments for sure.
Yeah, it's going to push over to the left here, and it's 3 stars in favor of Jupiter. There's that ult from Sandy that's coming in, the super that's coming in, that's going to provide that coverage. Rosa's going to get up close and personal, as we expect to happen quite a lot, and ultimately it's still Stars in the lead here, so they're so close to just claiming victory in the set altogether. In fact, 45 seconds are going to go ahead and make that difference.
I don't know whether you saw there, but honestly, Stars were very, very low, having just gained that lead by 1 star, and Jupiter being perhaps very passive here and needing to go on a bit more on the aggressive miss pull, but again, it is very much the advantage to Jupiter, to Stars, sorry, as Jupiter now trying to pinch from the right-hand side. This can turn quickly if this pinch does work out for them.
But that's the thing about Canal Grand as well. You need to like pincer them on both sides of the canal, otherwise they just rotate around. And so you're ultimately going to have one side that's underpowered. You just punch through the one man, which is what they're doing with the Jackie. It's a good attempt with the super to lock them in and buy time, but you just get overwhelmed because they just punch through the weaker side.
The heal was just slightly too late. There was the right idea. A great Jackie super with that suck for all 3 members of that team, but not quite enough to seal the deal.
I had the absolute pleasure of being joined here by Mustafa and Sebastian, aka I'm Sky, Riz and Anubis, German Brawl Stars team. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me here today. First off, Anubis, I wanted to kind of ask what you guys have been doing to prepare for this tournament.
So we were like scrimming daily and also playing top tier tournaments like the World Cup qualifier for the EU section. And we had also like pretty good placements. So Nova King and we placed top 8. and Skyrix with his team SK Gaming placed under the top 3, I think.
Now, you guys, you won the German Brawl Stars League, you were telling me. What are the kind of differences coming from that tournament into the Red Bull MEO World Finals?
So I guess the larger scale of it, we will face international teams, also probably a bit of delay, and I think the meta will shift, of course. Yeah, like just the strength of the teams, that would be a big difficulty for us.
I'm very excited to see that. I'm so excited to see you guys participating this weekend. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me today.
Right now, we're about to meet two teams we haven't seen on the broadcast yet, and they are Clash from our host nation, or would-be host nation, Spain, and Glorious from France. Ark, are you familiar with any of the players on these teams?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, Clash for me gonna be looking to clean up here, I think, and performing very, very well. They compete very frequently, both in LAN and online, and I think that, you know, they've got a very good chance of doing well here, despite not being, you know, in the live environment.
And what about Glorious? Do you know anything about this team, Falcone? They are a mystery to me.
No, exceptionally little. Like Ark, I mean, Clash is one of the big names of Brawl Stars. Guille, Trevor, and iChaos are names that, just based on the first couple months of the Brawl Stars monthly finals, we know exceptionally well. Sorry, not France. I know France. The other team is a pretty new team for me. It'll be interesting to see if they can hold their own against Clash.
Well, they were only able to beat Clash from Egypt, not to be confused with Clash from Spain, who they're about to face in Group A. So in other words, my money is not on the French, but as we've just seen from our first quarter final with Dark Causes AAA kicking out the Golden Boys of the competition, the Golden Boys from Brazil Stars, anything can happen. So Falcone and Ark, I'm going to let you do the honours and take us into this next quarter final.
Clash from Spain, Clash from Egypt, Clash Royale, who knows which Clash this is. Let's get this one started. It's Gem Grab and the Battle of the Pams in the center, going for that first gem. What do you think of these comps, Ark?
I like the comps. The thing for me is Pam mid or Pam lane here. That's the thing with Stone 4. It's kind of a bit of a common debate between whether Pam should be the mid. I play her as mid, but we do hear a lot of arguments that she should be lane because you get that kind of really, really easy spread, and you can just always know on that lane where your opponent is. But you know, Clash doing a good start. 4 gems in the bag. I like the Rico pick as well, and the B pick for me is a solid comp.
That's actually, if I'm not mistaken, that's Glorious with the 4 stars there on the top. So Pam holding on to those with everything she's got up there, being backed up by, yeah, the B and the Rico. However, Clash have managed to get control of the center. Mr. P with a nice elimination there on Rico. And it's now you can see the gem count turning over because Glorious have been pushed back. They can't get the gems.
Yeah, Glorious now need to, well, it's been down there and the gems are loose. That could be a great chance. iChaos, a very smart play there, actually. Just not being greedy, and that is something that we see much more from the pros than we see from the amateurs. That ability to be in more control of your thoughts and less spontaneous in that respect.
Right.
Risk is obviously very much more calculated in the pro scene, and I like the way that he left those, and as you can see now his teammates able to clear up, giving them a really, really good early start with that victory.
Oh yeah, there you go. That is going to be an easy game, easy life from Clash, where, as we were saying at the beginning, it did look like Glorious were getting that edge. Clash just with the positioning, just getting themselves into the center, pushing Glorious back like, yeah, okay, you know what? Those 4 gems, you can keep them. We don't need those 4. We just need the next 10 that come out of the middle. So that worked pretty well.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see many comp changes here. I think that we might see a couple, but you know, I think certainly Clash won't be doing anything just yet. I think they'll be looking to kind of feel out Glorious a bit more, and if they start to see maybe, you know, some signs of change on the horizon, they might be thinking a bit more about their comps, or they could go with the complete opposite strategy of just, they might well just do something different, just to throw Glorious off their pace.
Change their comp wildly each game. I like it. Well, there's BB and Rosa and Poco. Yeah, I mean, this is a very different comp, and it's working so far as Poco runs straight into the middle, grabs the 2 gems, and yeah, there you go. Glorious have once again been pushed back. Tick eliminated, Rico eliminated, only Pam remaining, and it looks like she's not going to last much longer.
Really early mid-control. Great heal by Guille as well, keeping Trevor alive on the left-hand side. I really like that play, and this is just really interesting. It's going to be definitely something to throw off Glorious in terms of their game if they can continue this momentum. Trevor going in again, they're getting those kills, and I really like this comp. I didn't expect, I did think it would be a viable strategy. Didn't expect Clash to actually go for it, though.
Well, Glorious are really struggling here. Pam did get those 2 gems, but at what cost? As it looks like she does retreat, does get hit by BB's ultimate a little bit there, but does make it all the way back to the spawn. So those 2 gems are safe, but who cares about those 2 gems really? Poco has 8 gems now, just needs 2 more. They're starting to lose control of the center. Super's coming left, right, and center from Glorious. Can they make a comeback here? Not with Pam.
I really like this synergy between Guille and Treble there, and that did enable Treble to get that kill, which gave the gems, which got the countdown, and Clash looking just very comfortable. And if I was Glorious right now, I'd be scared. I would be absolutely terrified, because Clash are just showing that they can change and do things as they like, when they like, and that's always a dangerous thing to see in your opponent.
There you go. That is going to be the first set going to Clash. Clash, who are very renowned in the Brawl Stars esports scene. Everybody that watches knows Clash from Spain. Incredible team. Really great performances so far in the monthly finals. They're currently sitting on, I believe, 5th in the leaderboards for the worldwide rankings. So, you know, that is a team to be respected.
Going into Tornado Ring then once again, and Clash going with a very tanky comp. We didn't see that really work out earlier. We saw range being more favored, so it'll be interesting to see whether they do find a way to make this work, and using that Rosa gadget to generate more bush, I think is a good strategy, which might see this comp working. And look at this, all 3 of Clash right up into the spawn of Glorious.
Yeah, and it gets really interesting now on Heist, because, you know, when you're spawning an Invincible, you can defend the safe pretty well. What are Clash going to be able to do here? They're going to get to deal some damage. It looks like they're staying quite healthy. That BB with the bubble is there defending, but Rosa making her way around the side, dealing quite a bit of damage, and then the BB's super also gets a lot of damage on the safe there. Glorious is really struggling here. They're really just being kept back at the spawn.
I'm loving these BB bubbles from iChaos with the accuracy and precision of that, getting so much value on the safe there. And look at this. I love as well how Clash are just, you know, not going in all at once. They're staggering themselves to keep getting damage, and that is gonna be it. I'm scared right now of this performance from Clash, looking very, very strong and consistent.
Yeah, I mean, that was for a game of Heist, that was fast. That was a fast game. Like, you kind of expect it from Brawl Ball. If that was Brawl Ball, like, maybe you'd expect the game to be that quickly and wouldn't be too scared as a result. But for Heist, that was a very fast victory. Glorious are really going to have to pull their act together if they want to have any chance against Clash as we start the second game of Heist.
It wasn't a safe rush either. That's the other thing, is like, when it's a safe rush, you expect it to be a fast game.
Okay.
It was very calculated, very methodical, and Clash just didn't go in all at once. It's very easy in Heist to want to get it over with, and all your teammates just go in for the kill, but it's actually a much better strategy to stagger yourselves and try to delay the amount of time it takes for your teammate to respawn and get back up the map there. So we're seeing some brawler changes though as well here, Falcone.
we are, and as you say that, I'm looking at Bruce just hammering away at the safe. So that little brawler change with Nita, it did some work, and the game is over. Just like that, Clash take the set.
Oh my goodness.
It's like, I want to talk about your brawler changes there, but I'm busy watching Bruce kicking some serious butt.
It's gone and over and dusted already with that change to Nita. That Hyper Bear star power in Heist is just so devastating, and I can't even remember the last time I saw Bear with Me being used in Heist. It's just not worth it, and that is the reason why.
Well, there you go. I believe the final remaining set that well, not final set, depends what happens, obviously, but the third set is going to be Bounty. A little bit of foreshadowing there. I think it's clear what I think is about to happen. But we're going to jump into this one. And it's probably going to be some slower paced action here with this Bounty game. we're going to see less fights being taken, but Clash are going to try and take the ones they need to, as Jackie takes out that tick straight away, giving an early lead here to Glorious.
Yeah, but Glorious, in the grand scheme of things, not looking so full of glory. Definitely need to bring this back now and make some serious changes. That pressure is definitely going to be being felt, and Clash definitely looking to capitalize on that fact now. And Clash are behind on Stars, but I don't think that's going to be lasting for too long, knowing how Guille is playing Piper.
Yeah, just look at the let's watch for the accuracy on the Piper here as Brock just going in and taking on that Rosa, knowing that, yeah, Rosa might be the close range brawler, but I've got the damage. I'm going to get the job done. Clash gets the first few stars there, but they need some more. Tick doing some work at the side, but it's not quite enough. Clash do need to put the work in. They just need to get a couple of eliminations to get themselves back on top.
Yeah, this is a really, really strong position for Clash to be
close.
in. Yeah, they need to hold this form, and that Jackie pick is going to try to push back Trevor on that left-hand side for sure. That is a wise strategy, but the snipe from Guille as well. If they can just get some kills here in this middle section, I think they're going to. The Rose is so weak, does go down, and now only 1 star away, 1 kill away for Clash to be able to take the lead here.
Oh, the Rosa with the invincibility blocking the Piper attack there, saving the Poco. Amazing. Clash need to push now, or they will drop their first game of this match. But Jackie getting really weak there. Jackie goes down. Then Rosa takes down Tick. Glorious are going to take their first game of this match. And that was an amazing photo finish.
You're telling me? My goodness me. I kind of felt, though, to be honest, that if Clash had just decided to focus on the right-hand side on that Rosa instead of where they were going for in the spawn, if everyone just decided to focus on the Rosa, I think they would have got that kill and been able to retreat. They didn't go for it. It changed hands so incredibly quickly.
Yeah.
I could barely keep up, but Glorious hanging on by the skin of their teeth.
Full-on mirror comp here, Arc, by the looks of things. So interesting how that's being changed up. No more Rosas in sight. Maybe I was wrong about this being the final game type that we're going to see in this match. We're about to find out. As the battle in the middle, Clash doing well. They've got the first star. They've got an elimination on the Brock, and now they just need to play it safe.
Yeah, for me, this is a solid, stable comp. You know, you can mix things up, but more often than not, you get that great crowd control from the Tick, the long-range snipes from the Piper, and look at this, like, absolute spawn domination from Clash. 7 stars in the bank.
It was the way that Clash just herded all of the members of Glorious together into that one corner so that Tick could really get that work done. 7-star lead. I mean, all Clash need to do now is back away slowly, but it looks like they are so confident about this game. They're going to fight. Piper gets away with the super there. Another elimination from Clash on the Brock. Another elimination from Clash taking out the Piper. And now they just seem unstoppable, Ark.
Yeah, Clash are basically saying, oh, you want a mirror comp? Oh, that's cute. Yeah, well, you know, this is going to come down to skill. I hope you realize that. And 16 stars later to 3, and definitely displaying that they are more in control of this mirror comp scenario that we're seeing unfolding. And they just did a great job of taking mid control early on, forcing back Glorious into their spawn, and pretty much the game was over for me, at least then, but there's still much more to go with 15 seconds left. It can change. I don't think it's going to, though.
DA's accuracy, Arc. Those last few Piper shots were just flawless. Amazing. It does get eliminated eventually, but the score is 21-10. There is no coming back from Glorious, and now Clash take their first game of this set. Evening the score, it's 1-1 in a best out of 3 set. So this is potentially match point.
Yeah, match point now then, and you know, I think the Glorious are going to be feeling that. I mean, they were just getting back a rhythm, some momentum, some hope, and Clash just really came and shunned that down really quickly now. And I think, yeah, we're going to go back to a more tankier brawler comp with Jackie and Rosa for Glorious, and I'm not too sure about that. I think that Clash, if they can break up the map, could be using a lot of range to their advantage here.
Absolutely. that's what they're going to be aiming to do, and it's not been the best start. Obviously down by 1 star, but it doesn't matter as the Brock again takes out the Rosa. iChaos has been pretty consistent in doing that, just knowing what the health breakpoints are, knowing when it is safe to get in and get close to that Rosa and take her out. And now they are leading by 1 star, and that is all it takes in a game of Bounty. They just need to play it safe. Jackie going for it, but not quite getting the damage in. And that Piper, again, Gie with the accurate Piper shots, just getting that damage in. And that Jackie does go down eventually to one of the tick block bombs.
Yeah, great pinch work there from Clash on that left-hand side between Gie and Trevor. And again, with that takedown on the Poco. And that's what I love to see, is teams working together as a unit and not trying to rush. But actually, that goes down Trevor. Only giving now a 1-star lead to Clash, so a bit less of a cushioning now. This could turn around maybe in the final seconds. Need to be a bit more cautious, I think, going into these final 30 seconds of this game.
Well, here we go. This could be it. Glorious need to find a way to get 1 star back in order to prolong this series, or it is going to be the end for them, as Poco just uses that tree to defend himself against Piper, but still the shots come in. Rose has had enough. She's going for it. Can't decide whether she's running for Piper or Brock, and eventually does just fall. And it looks like the writing is on the wall arc. Jackie goes down as well. 13-5. It's going to be a match point for Clash.
It was like an all-or-nothing thing, and just Clash very, very dominant. Glorious couldn't really do much about it.
Do you think, Ark, that was the best performance as an overall team in terms of composition and communication that we've seen so far here at Red Bull MEO?
I would go as far as to say it's probably, yeah. There was so much interaction between 2 players from Clash, focusing on 1 player on the opposition, and more often than not, that really restricts the movement. It more often than not ends in the kill, and by doing that, as they go around, they can just keep taking people down. And yeah, that was, I think, for me, a lot to do with the reasons why that was such a successful match for them.
We're going to head into this clash, this quarterfinal, with Falcone and Trid.
All right, here we go. First game of the match, and Nova straight away with B, picking up 2 gems and gonna retreat straight back. They need to get some mid control there, as Skyrix and the other teammate are just taking the lanes. But B, they're nicely picking up a 4th gem and keeping control of this center.
Yeah, it's so difficult, I think, for this team, Clash Egypt, to actually get a look in here. By controlling all 3 lanes and moving up simultaneously, it's really hard to get the flank and break through this oppressive mid-control.
Little reminder of just how powerful B is when you've got that supercharged hit, taking out more than half of Mr. P's health in a single strike there. They are having to retreat, but already with 7 gems, Wave are happy. They've got the time to sort of recoup, and you know what? It didn't take long. Just, yep, gonna nip in, grab the 8th. Can I get the 9th? Oh, it's getting a little bit risky now.
Should be able to walk in here with this one. Instead, Skyrix going to commit it. He's going to find that final gem off the back end of that. So they've got 10 right now. Keeping King alive will keep them in this game.
Yeah, and they're just gently retreating to the spawn. There's really not that much that Clash can do when they're this far back, because even if they do start knocking out the players, they'll just respawn and be invincible. So that is going to be a very comfortable victory there for Wave. That B was able to just completely get control of the gem area, and there was really no coming back from Clash.
Yeah, like I said, it all came down to the flank control. Just by having that simultaneous line of attrition, they were able to move up into the center, with B entirely being enabled by the brawlers on the outside of the map. We're going to jump into game number 2, though.
Yep, and it looks like Wave just have range on their side. Like Pam is very much close range brawler, very much support, can't do all that much from a distance. So this B is just going to bully Pam there, and yep, does take her out with Jean's support on the right side. And it's just the same old story again, Trid. It's the B controlling the center, just getting all those gems.
Well, that's the biggest problem with this competition, Dan. It's just, if you don't get that early control, it's very difficult to retake that or aggress with Pam. Once Pam gets set up in the right location, you're going to have such an easy time defending that. And it's just not being allowed to happen by Wave. They're expending that healing station on the right-hand side outside of the mid. It's a forward position they can operate from. They're going to turn it into a gem completion here. But no, they don't even get the kill. Actually, I can't believe it. That's a 1 HP getaway.
Amazing. And now it's going to be countdown time again. It's going to be retreating back. We can't get a good look of what's going on with Wave right now, but I think we can imagine what is happening as they push their way back to the spawn, and it looks like Clash are just struggling to get a hold of any of those gems.
Even the Observer was stunned in disbelief by that 1 HP getaway that we saw there just on the bottom right-hand corner. Really well played there. I believe it was Nova King who got away with that. I genuinely thought he was going to go down. Just did not happen in this instance. So immediately, I guess that's Wave taking the first map.
All right, jumping into Heist. It's going to be Brock, BB, and Nita on the bottom, pushing up the map. Can Wave do it again nice and quickly? We will soon find out. The battle begins there with Max on the left. Pam missing some shots, but Brock getting that first hit on Pam. Spike on the right is firing, but just takes more damage than dishes out. And Skyrix is pushing all the way straight up to that safe.
Yeah, that's exactly what he needs to do, though. Get in Spike's face, shut him down, and look at all the space he's created for his team. It means that Nova King could walk forward on a Brock and use that rocket rain to get that big chunk of damage on the safe, dropping it down to 69%.
Nita also doing some serious work on the left there, just holding out until the teammates arrive. BB super hitting the safe multiple times, and the bear goes nuts!
Yeah, this is absolutely dire for Clash Egypt. They've got zero control of this map right now, Falcone, so that's going to be the first game going over to Wave.
Yeah, a really nice performance from Wave. Not quite as quick with the insane bear as the one that we saw from the previous match, but still, that was very devastating. And again, Lowercase Clash is going to have some serious work to do in order to catch up from this.
And we're going to jump into game number 2. Adaptations, maybe should come in. Not a massive fan of the Spike pick on this one, based up against what they're going against. But it's the adaptations on the side of Wave. They're bringing, they're keeping exactly the same. Looking at Clash Egypt, they've brought in the Penny instead of that Spike.
Penny's super interesting in a game type like this because of the way that the sort of AoE hit works. You know, if they're by the safe, then you can generally hit the brawlers and the safe at the same time. But there you go, elimination Nita on Nita action there on the left with Wave getting the damage in, and BB at the safe again.
It's going to be easy for them to pick up some extra damage here. I love the bounce that comes in from the bubble with BB in the spawn room, because you can bounce off the backboard in the terrain. Now that that's been blown up, won't have that option and won't maybe get as many bounces back on the safe. But it doesn't matter, they've got territorial control again.
Yeah, BB is just wailing away with that sword on the safe and on Nita, and the safe is down already thanks to a lot of help from Brock on the right-hand side. That is going to be game and set to Wave. We are on the fire again, potentially the final set of this match. We just tend to be seeing in these Brawl Stars matches at the moment, there is one dominant team. I'll tell you, Trill, I cannot wait to see the later games, to see the final, where hopefully it won't quite be so one-sided.
Absolutely, jumping into Layer Cake now, our third map, and pretty meta composition for Wave. They've got the Brock, the Piper, and the Tick. And then we're moving over to see what looks like the bow, which I'm absolutely fine with, right? This is how you should be utilizing bow. Combo with someone like Brock, who can get his Rocket Rain online fast and destroy enemy cover, which allows you to control from safety. But then again, you also need to get control of the stars. So if you don't do that, then you're just going to fall apart. And that's exactly what we're seeing here right now. Wave 7-0 in the lead currently.
Yeah, I mean, that start just speaks for itself, doesn't it? The star count's there. As long as Wave don't play stupid now, don't allow the other team to completely wipe them out, they are not going to be taken down. And unfortunately for Clash, for Lowercase Clash, they are having to try and make the aggressive plays. They are having to push, and that puts them in the delicate position that Wave can just take advantage of.
Need to be careful of that one, because if they can't get out the spawn room, Dan, they've got no chance of getting anything done here, especially with the range that's being brought by this Wave lineup.
They've got to push forwards, they've got to keep going, but it's not working out. So much damage being taken by Lowercase Clash, and still Piper pushes forwards, gets the damage in on Bo, just about misses. But There's so much work still for Clash to do. Bo taking even more damage. Brock dishing it out so quickly. Other Brock trying to come through on the right side, but just gets pushed back again. It's not happening.
It's pure desperation from the side of Clash Egypt right now. They're struggling. They have to get some stars on the board. They're unable to do so. Even Nova King, point blank range. It takes 2 members of Clash Egypt to kill him.
Yeah, and 16 against 3. That is too many stars for Clash to be able to get. Even if they wipe the team, it is just not going to do it. And that is going to be the first game of this set going to Wave. And you know what that means, Trid? That means we're on match point.
Match point incredibly fast as well. They're sensing a pattern in the tournament, Dan, where these games are going incredibly quick and seem to be one-sided. But this could well be the final game of this set and deciding who's going to go over into those semi-finals. And I've got to say, I'm really liking the looks of that being Wave right now. I just don't see how Clash Egypt come back into this.
I think you'd be a little bit silly if you were thinking that Clash were going to take this match with the amount of work they've got to do, though it has been done before reverses from this position. We've got a very slow fight to begin with, but again, the range available for Wave. Piper, Tick, and Brock just throwing out damage, not letting Clash get any leeway whatsoever. The star has been picked up. They just need to play defense now.
See, the thing about the early star pickup, Falcone, is that you can get that 1 star, but because everyone's worth 2 when you kill them,
right?
You like it's not a definitive lead because sometimes the risk isn't worth the reward because dying when trying to get the star is not worth it. So that's why a lot of teams play passively. They have to make sure it's the right time to do it. Because Wave have been so dominant, they're just able to walk in and they're not afraid of Clash Egypt.
No, I mean, they were able to create this opening. They went in and grabbed it, and now they're pushing back. Brock does get eliminated on Clash's side by the other Brock, and now it looks like they're being a little bit more aggressive, Wave, with Brock using that super, getting some damage in. Again, they're just creating no space whatsoever for Clash to close that gap. It's
what
not
a
happening.
Predicament they find themselves in. Just, it's only 1 star. It's not that much of a difference. Then you donate your life, and well, guess what? Now it's 3 stars. Try again, you fail again, 5 stars. Keep adding up the total, keep adding up the bill that needs to be paid at some point. And 24 seconds remaining. I don't think it's going to be happening.
Oh, it just goes from bad to worse as Brock gets another elimination. 15 seconds, 7 stars. The head first is not good enough against a team this competent who saves the ammo, who eliminates the head. On the other side of things, though, okay, yeah, it does. The head does get eliminated too, but who cares at this point? That is going to be game, set, and match to Wave, and what a match it was.
Well, the Germans, they're living up to their countrywide reputation of being ruthlessly efficient, and unfortunately that means we do have to say goodbye to my favourite team name in the whole tournament, lowercase Clash. Thank you so much to them for representing Egypt. And as I said about one of the teams earlier, we hope that we'll see you very, very soon, maybe in Red Bull MEO Season 3, and it's such a big deal to make it this far and represent your country on a global level as well. But in terms of Wave, my goodness, they were a bit ruthless with that map control, weren't they, Trid?
Absolutely. As soon as they got that initial control, whichever map they played on, they just didn't relinquish it. And it was particularly brutal for Clash Egypt because they were relying on compositions that needed that early control. So they never got their foot through the door and they didn't have the means to retake. And as the series went on, we weren't seeing much adaptation to try and correct that. So it just snowballed out of hand in favor of Wave.
Let us jump straight into this match. So I'm going to be quiet because I am not an expert and you guys are. We're very lucky to have you. So let's see what happens in our final quarterfinal.
Expert is a title I really like to bestow upon myself and will avoid it at all costs, but it's Invictus versus Jupiter in our final quarter-final of the event arc, and there's that Pam pick again in the mid.
Yeah, Pam mid again. It can be used on either mid or lane for me. I like the way as well that we saw the Jackie getting very quickly into the mid in that very early stages. That's going to play a big role here in keeping that Shelly for Invictus out.
You ever see a cat jump in a cardboard box arc? That's exactly what the Jackie's doing right now. It's protection. It's safety as they're lying in that corner. So when these teams are trying to encroach into that center territory near the gems border, they're just getting absolutely blasted by damage.
Yeah, absolutely. Look out, though, because Shelly's now got Super N. If I were that player, I'd be looking to break some of this cover, break some of these walls, and do it in a way. Probably right now, here we go, and does not actually work out. Not enough team support during that motion there.
Also, the wrong cover to break. Surely you'd want to break the cover that's not going to assist your aggression. It's the one that's going to assist your opponent's aggression. And right now, that Pam's sitting on 10 gems arc. The countdown's begun. There's not enough gems in play for them to try and retake. They have to go for the kills.
Yeah, Jupiter now going to be feeling really nicely confident as there's only one brawler on the Invictus team there on the left side. Comfortably done for me. Be interesting to see now whether Jupiter can kind of continue this momentum and whether they'll switch anything up. It's always interesting on the first game to see whether what that first team does. Do they keep it? Do they change it? We'll have to see.
We talked a little bit, like I mentioned, the Frankie, the psychological element of having to constantly adapt and not see results is a bit of a drain on these players. We're going to jump into game number 2, see if those adaptations have already begun or whether they can persevere with their own composition. I'm seeing some changes across the board for the side of Invictus. There's a Poco, there's a Rosa, and a Jackie as well. So very different to what we saw on that first map.
Yep, the Invictus Jackie very quickly again to get into the center. Forced out now. Rosa, though, with that gadget, that ability to create and generate those bushes, I feel that's going to be a really, really good asset for Invictus and could put a lot of aggression and pressure towards Jupiter there. But the Jupiter are doing a good job, though, however, of holding mid control, and that's what this game mode, this map, is all about.
A lot of pressure being exerted there by the Jackie on the side of Jupiter. It bought time for M.E.O and Pam to grab control of those gems in the center. They're sitting on 5 right now, the 7 available, so definitely in their favor right now. Poco gonna use that heal, commit it over to the Jackie, make sure that they're staying nice and healthy on the right hand side. There was the M's disengage with the super comboed onto it as well. Ultimate levels of control to get that kill, and now the aggression comes out from Jupiter. They get the retake of mid, they get control of all of the gems, and now they start the countdown. Well, look at Savvy in the back left corner. He's isolated from the rest of the team. If they keep him pinned in that location, it's going to be so hard. He has to commit here with the super. He's been locked down early by Jupiter, and he finds no value with his own super. 1 second remaining. That's gem grab got him in the way of Jupiter.
Done, dusted, over. Very, very strong early performance then from Jupiter, and they got to continue it forwards. So, you know, we'll see different game modes to come as to whether Invictus can kind of come back from this. But not a good start for them, it's fair to say.
Not the best, no, I can agree with that sentiment, indeed. Yeah. As we move on to our second map type, we're heading over to Heist, and we've seen a lot of Nita being played so far in this tournament, particularly on this map, and significantly absent on the side of Jupiter, but if my eyes do not deceive me, Invictus are opting to go for it as well.
Well, I mean, you know, hyper bear. I mean, that's the word on everyone's teeth right now. And
the talk of the town,
I should say.
Hyper bear. He's just trotting down the street right now, Mr. Hot Stepper, and finding his way to the Heist safe. But he's not found connection so far. In fact, he's being called back to play defense right now because we're already at 50% HP for the side of Invictus is safe.
Barely any time has passed, and already that is quite a considerable amount of damage being dealt. And gotta say, my money here already is on Jupiter, despite the pick of Nita. It does seem like the M's pick there is doing a good job of taking that down, and I think this could be all over right now as Jupiter pushing up really much so on Invictus. I don't know, this looks done and dusted to me.
It's absolutely done and dusted, Ark. The M's pick is such a great counter for Bruce. You can kite him away so easily when he goes on the hunt for you, especially if you've got your super. This absolutely dismantles that melee range super that's available. That's first map going over to Jupiter, and their path of domination just keeps on trucking.
Yeah, and I don't think, to be honest, there was really anything too much wrong with the Invictus composition. It wasn't really, to be honest, anything that was like dreadfully wrong. I think that Jupiter are just playing very, very well, and now they've got to up their pace. They've got to do something because they don't really want to lose this second set, and if they lose this next game, they're going to.
Okay, more adaptations coming around. Mr. P being brought to the table inside of Jupiter, but they're whipping out the Nita this time. They want some of that hyper bear action to jump in here as well. And the bear's still going to be present on the side of Invictus. They've got that Daryl and they've brought an M's of their own as well, hoping to balance the scales.
Oh, who doesn't want a bit of hyper bear action? It's so satisfying to see Bruce just go at that safe. But gotta say, bit of surprised to see Mr. P, although it is good that Super will locate the opposition regardless to being hidden in a bush. So I can't understand why, and it's just the amount of damage output for me that's just a little bit on the low side with Mr. P. But there's the Bruce bear, hyper bear going in, but not too much damage. It was shut down pretty quickly actually by Invictus. So.
I think not the most optimal timing for Ponkotsu right there.
Yeah.
Nearly was, you could see him toying. He was entertaining the idea for such a long time, and then I think the Daryl engagement came in and maybe forced his hand, which is a good initiative by Invictus to make that happen. The bear's going to be deployed again, but it's an easy pickup for the side of Invictus. But it doesn't change the fact that all the pressure is in favor of Jupiter, and they're getting 3 damage right now, and Invictus has not seen Jupiter's half of the map ever.
That is a lot of damage that just went down then on that safe. And there is still one gadget, I believe, in the hands of the M's. That knockback.
Oh, there's the bear.
It's done. Yeah. As quickly as that. Jupiter now then, going into this this third set, have got to feel in a good place about this.
I think Heist is in the rotation right now, like at this very moment of time of recording. I think I need to actually start playing Nita in Heist. And just... Yeah, I just don't usually do it. I feel like it's something that needs to be brought to the party right now because I've just seen a lot of domination from multiple teams when it comes to using Bruce with the Hyper Bear star power. Map number 3, we're going over to Layer Cake, so it's moving over to Bounty, and most of the teams have been fairly standardized here with the compositions we're seeing. We're going to see a lot of, usually it's Tick, not Pam, Tick, Piper, and Brock is often what we've seen, but we're actually seeing on the side of Jupiter, Poco, Jackie, and BB.
Yeah, I mean, Poco, for me, I don't know. But I've seen, this is what I was saying earlier about Jupiter's kind of like approach to the meta and comps. And I mean, look at this already. This sport pitch is disgusting there. Oh my goodness me. 5 stars in less than 5 milliseconds, and I'm not sure whether it's connection issues or something.
There's definitely connection issues here.
Yeah, Jupiter, regardless, showing no mercy whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm not. I have to consult the rule book at some point here. Ark, I don't know if this will be a replay because it seems like this is very one-sided right now.
You think?
Yeah, it's just incredibly one-sided. I'm actually surprised to see. I think everyone's got control of their brawlers right now. Everyone's moving around again, but there's a 25-star lead. That's, going to be difficult to come back from, to say the least.
Yeah, I feel like Jupiter would probably be like, well, I don't know about this. I mean, I felt like it was a pretty one. It wasn't necessarily one-sided as far as we saw it. I mean, we were just, quite under pressure, we felt really ourselves. But yeah, they're not showing any mercy here, and I'd be in the same position.
Why would you?
I'd be the same. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Why would you? There's no need to. And yeah, I don't, often what we see is that there's no rulings around lag and connections because it's obviously on the players. So, there's no responsibility that can be taken other than the players themselves. 43 stars.
But there's a reason. There's a reason why in boxing someone can throw in the towel, right, and call it off. I'm hoping there's like a virtual towel they could throw in right now, and maybe get a little bit of mercy because that's a 49-0 score line. That's technically is the first game. I want to see if we're going to get any more replay or if there's a replay of that particular map. I'm sure we'll find out because if Jupiter win the next game and then they don't end the series, then it's clear that was a replay. But I want to see what the ruling actually is because it's sometimes it's very much up to admin discretion and there's a lot of factors that go into that decision making. Okay, so I've just got confirmation from production that that game did in fact count. So it does mean we are at Jupiter to win this, and then they can take away their spot and get themselves a spot at the semi-finals.
You're going to be asking yourselves if you're Invictus, like, you know, they surely after that moment have already kind of submitted to the
tower's been
inevitable,
thrown. We've already covered this arc. The tower has been thrown. If it exists, it's on the map.
I mean, sometimes a team, you know, will kind of feel like it was actually not supposed to be their map, and they'll kind of shut down, and that's why you should always, regardless, just try to carry on. But yeah, for me, Jupiter now going to absolutely be looking to tie this up quickly, and we are seeing a great little pinch going on this left-hand side with the Piper and the Tick forcing back that Primo for Invictus, and you know, they're going to want to get a semi-decent lead still, so they're not, you know, taking this game too lightly. But they are going to want to get a couple more stars than just the one lead for me.
Yeah, a 1-star lead is not substantial at all. And they've got the composition to pull it off. They just keep the rest of Invictus at arm's length. BB getting in close is exactly what they need to do, but that protective shield is now cracked and crumbled away, and it's so easy to pick off if 3 members are going to focus on one target. Just like that, everyone's collapsing. So plus side, they got out of their spawn. Negative side, they gave up another 6 stars.
Yeah, I would say the exchange was not quite balanced in that respect. Yeah, I've got to hand it to Jupiter here. Really, really nice defense, especially when you're, you know, on the retreat. It's very difficult to kind of keep in control of that and not just all have a team wipe happen. And they did really well to fight back and to keep the Primo at bay. And now it's just, you know, what we're seeing here is Invictus not pushing as a team on bounty on this particular map. Like, that's a really bad strategy for me. That's going to end in tears, straight.
Yeah, but it's also Jupiter has all the supers online, basically. They could just have complete control of the game. Primo's getting absolutely bodied. The rest of Jupiter, they've oiled themselves up. They've jumped off the top rope and dropped a supreme elbow drop onto El Primo and the rest of Invictus. A 3-0 stomp. Jupiter are going over to the semi-finals.
Well, congratulations to Jupiter. Boys, do you think that's probably the only time in competitive Brawl Stars history that we've seen a bounty where it's ended up 49 stars to none?
To my recollection, yeah, but Ark's a little bit more encyclopedic than I am. He might be able to reference something even more ridiculous than that.
Yeah, nothing that springs to mind as being, oh, that time when. But, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, we've seen stranger things happen. And sometimes, yeah, it can just be like just an absolute annihilation. And yeah, when it does happen, it's kind of like, oh, that time when.
Well, I think annihilation is definitely the word.
One special thank you we'd like to give is to paysafecard. Not only did they get involved in M.E.O national events in Austria, Italy, Greece, Germany and Spain, but they are giving €1,000 prize money to each of our 3 winners across all 3 titles. PaySafeCard allows you to shop online safely and securely. For more info, head to paysafecard.com.
What we're going to do is going to go straight into this semi-final because I don't want to keep you guys waiting any longer. So take it away, Falcone and Ark.
All right, here we go. Semi-final number 1. And it's going to be Clash versus AAA. I do it right, Ark?
I like the accentuation there on the uppercase Clash, Falcone, and please keep that up.
Oh, I will. I intend to. As Clash have got a very nice lead here with 3 stars already. They are able to just go and play defensive. It is up to AAA to get those eliminations and get some stars back, but Clash are not going to make that easy.
No, not at all. I actually quite like the Mr. P here. On this particular map, it serves quite well to get that super down early, to seek out the opposition wherever they may hide. And, you know, yeah, it does go a long way to think through your strategy with regards to comp. And, you know, it's going to come down to skill ultimately with this mirror comp. But, you know, we've seen, you know, Clash earlier on in this competition, you know, mix that up and keep the opposition on their toes. Nice super going down there as well. 5 stars already in the hands of Clash.
Yep, that is a very dominating position to be in. We're now looking at least 2 eliminations required. Oh, there we go. That's now 7 stars as Mr. P takes out Mr. P. The head first comes down. And that looked like it was almost going to take out Mr. P, but the Suitcase was able to take it down. 7 stars still to go, and Clash really not allowing AAA to make any progress down this map.
Yeah, the way that Clash has shaped the map as well, I think, is worth noting, and taking down that area of bush with that Brock super as well, and as another star goes in the bank, 11 stars now to nothing. Not even the middle star in the hands of AAA right now. Yeah, shaping the map, shaping the terrain makes a big difference in terms of how teams can control. Nice jump from Guy Chaos as well there, using that gadget. But wow, what a dominating performance from Clash.
15-0, and Clash are going to get the first game of this match. I hope you don't think that's going to get old anytime soon, because it's not stopping. AAA, the Clash are clearly the favourites to win this match, Ark. Do you think AAA have any sort of chance here?
Oh, there's absolutely always a chance for me. Yeah, I mean, things can still change, and you know, it's far from over in that respect. You know, I think that, yeah, Clash probably coming in arguably is the favorite here. Probably from my perspective as well, as we say, Mortis. Are my eyes deceiving me? Wow. Okay, AAA have just gone with a Mortis after losing the first game. I don't know about that. What do you think about that?
We saw AAA, I believe, playing Mortis back in the group stages, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's just a favourite pick of theirs. Mortis goes in, misses the Mr. P, and then sort of just flails about before getting eliminated. No real progress being made. In fact, Clash just have even more stars now. Oh, maybe this time? No.
I mean, you know, Mortis is not a bad brawler. I think that's a common misconception in the community that, you know, he's too high skill to play, or that he's just kind of bad. He is a viable option. I just don't know whether it's a safe option in that respect. It's for competitive, it is a bit of a risk, and that's why I don't know whether I bring it out at this stage myself, having just taken that loss. It's more for me of a kind of first game pick.
I guess it's almost a Hail Mary. It's like, okay, we've lost the first game. Let's try something dramatically different, try and catch the other team off guard. And here we go, Mortis making the plays here, but he's completely on his own. And Clash are fully aware of what he's doing, and Mortis sort of having to retreat now. The rest of the team coming in, but Rosa gets eliminated quite easily. Mortis does get an elim there, but it's not going to be... Wait, it is going to be enough. I'm sorry.
It is going to be just enough. I can't believe quite that actually has given the lead to AAA, who might even now with another takedown be able to survive the next 10 seconds to equalize this one out.
Well, there's a big push coming from Brock and Mr. P, but a lot of work needed. At least one elimination on the Mortis. Mortis takes down Mr. P, and AAA are going to win the game 19-12. You know what, Ark? They are here to show they've got some fight left in them, and this is not going to be a stomp like what we've been seeing so far tonight.
I feel like I'm about to eat my words. I mean, that kind of actually worked out okay. It's that risk element for me. It's like they're going to go with the Mortis pick again, it seems, I think. I don't know, possibly, maybe. I would probably, if I was in their position, and yeah, I think they are going to be going with that Mortis pick again. And I mean... It's just that it happened very, very late on in the game, and I don't know whether for me I want to risk it all on a brawler, which is going to be being played for the entirety of that game on a final moment kill, you know, personally.
Well, it's going to be set point either way now, Ark, and well, AAA do have that 1-star advantage. They did manage to get away with it, but Clash have pushed them all the way back to their spawn. The Rosa fight was real, as they both have very similar health totals, but Clash was able to get an elimination there and are retreating to the center of the map. They've now got all of the bush protecting them, so it's going to be very hard for AAA to find the correct place to push here.
Yeah, and this is the thing with Clash, is that they show always a good sign of awareness, or of mixing things up and changing things. And as soon as the Mortis pick worked out well for AAA, they decided to go with the Rosa instead of the Tick. And I think that, for me, is a good decision to make. And, you know, more often than not, if you make a brawler decision that works out well, you're going to continue that kind of like pattern of play. And, you know, Clash were obviously banking on that. And I feel like that change could well go into their favor here.
6 versus 1 now as Clash are quite nicely, comfortably sitting in the center. Rosa makes a push, but does get pushed all the way back herself by Mr. P. Can they get the elimination off on her? Mr. P almost does. Brock misses 2 shots as well, and it looks like the Rosa survives. Meanwhile, Mortis pushes through the center of the map, but there's not all that much that he can do. He's trying to recover some health as Rosa comes into support. Maybe they get the elimination here, but no, the other Rosa puts up the super, and it looks like Clash are quite safe. With only 10 seconds to go, things were looking like they might be about to turn around, but now Clash have, well, they've sorted this game out, that's for sure.
Yeah, so little really, even playing Mortis in that respect, they could do. All of Clash had full health. It was always going to be a one-sided thing in that particular comp versus comp situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to get the positioning with Mortis, which is something the AAA were sort of able to achieve in that last game, but the other thing is actually being able to get the damage in and actually dealing it to the correct brawler. It wasn't quite going to work out for them, but they did get 1 game in that set. Let's take a look at set number 2, which is going to be Siege, I think for the first time tonight, and let's see if AAA can pull this one off.
Yeah, Clash doing a great job of taking that first set. It's going to give them a boost, give them a lift, and they do like Siege. We've seen Clash do some incredible things in Siege, coming back under a lot of pressure in Siege as well. It's for what I've seen and witnessed in competitive with them playing in Siege, probably one of their better game modes, I would say. So definitely a good position to find themselves in going in ahead.
So, Ark, we see AAA got the first Siege bot, and is that fine for Clash? Like, is that kind of maybe a strategy sometimes to let the other team get the first bot while you have a little bit of a bolt advantage for the second one so that you can get a huge bot to fight back? Or is the game plan purely just get as many bolts and bank them as possible?
Yeah, it can be a bit of a strategy. It's not certainly the end of the world. I mean, getting those 3 bolts, which they did bank in that previous round, does go a way. And here they're probably going to go for, a full control for the next 15 seconds to add to that 3. So, it definitely gives them a bit more of an advantage. Treble's going to be using super here to break that wall in advance of that push as well. So this could be a very, very strong push for Clash. Absolutely so.
A level 9 Siege bot. It's going to take AAA a lot of work to put a stop to this. Let's take a look at how much Clash the brawlers themselves can push as well, as they're going to get that little bit of healing from Pam's super. And here we go. Siege bot getting really weak though. And yeah, Clash sitting back. They're going to just focus on getting bolts and make sure that they get the next Siege bot. And it looks like whoever gets the next Siege bot is probably just going to win this game.
This is exactly it, why the first round doesn't really matter too much in that respect. Obviously it does, but if you're able to regain control in the second round, but now Clash didn't have to go in at all. They can just literally hold the mid for that push back, and just as long as they can just get a couple more bolts now, they're going to get a level 10, and that's going to be really, really difficult for AAA to be able to defend in any way, really.
Wow, Trevor getting the shots in there, and this is a level 12 Siege bot. This is game over. There's no way they can defend against this, can they?
They can if they can get a couple of kills, if Triple can go down here, but now the time has disappeared for that to happen, and we're going to see the damage going in. If you're going to defend something like that, you've got to get kills, you've got to get them early on, and then you've got to stagger your deaths to keep that invincibility going in a kind of rotated fashion. That was never going to happen there. You have a very small kind of like window of opportunity to achieve that, and yeah, Clash looking very strong in Siege already.
Funny thing is about Siege for me is that it's a game mode that I really don't enjoy playing at my sort of trophy level, because nobody I'm playing with has any sort of concept of strategy, and it's just sort of running. But it's a game mode that I've really come to appreciate watching the top level players play, because it truly is fascinating how many different layers there are to this game, as we are jumping into game number 2, and Pam and Clash has run straight in, got the same bolt. Brock on AAA are going to bank the second one, so it's pretty tight this first time around. It looks like the first Siege bot is going to go to Clash though.
Yeah, a few changes as well, and Clash keeping their opposition on their toes again. Gonna get a level 3 this time with the breaking of the walls by Trevor again, giving that bot a nice smooth path. I think that Clash will put some damage, some pressure on, kind of earn their supers here, but I don't think they're going to go in too aggressively. They're just trying to get damage from a distance. It's far more important to regain that control. But look how much damage the bot did actually do, because it didn't seem to be like AAA really kind of supported the takedown of the bot. 39% is left now. That's
Yeah.
devastating for AAA.
Well, it's a two-pronged attack, wasn't it? It's like, yeah, let the bot go off and deal as much damage, support the bot, sort of, but the main goal for Clash was to keep control of the center of the map so that they can get the next siege bot. And looking at where we're at right now is 5 bolts to 2, 6 bolts to 2 now for Clash. 7 bolts to 2. That's going to be a level 7 siege bot. And if this goes as well as the last one, this is going to be game over for AAA.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is looking devastating for AAA right now, and so much control and pressure being applied by Clash as the damage just rains down there, getting that victory. Wow.
That's going to be the second set down for Clash. Sorry, Clash! I've been inconsistent with that.
Yeah, you forgot.
I got. But we're going to see potentially the final set. Every single match that we've watched today has been 3 sets to 0. Let's see if we can see AAA pull something out of the bag here.
Yeah, I did kind of expect a little bit more, to be honest, from AAA. They kind of did the Mortis pick that we saw earlier to kind of mix things up. And I think that is kind of a thing which they should be doing more with a Clash, is changing things. It worked out well for them when Clash were not expecting that team decision. And I feel like they're kind of going a little bit back on that and being a bit maybe too predictable now in that respect. But it's not over. It's just not looking great for them right now.
It's not looking great at all. Start of this game, not looking great either. Nice defense there in the center from Max, and Brock is able to take care of BB. So if they can take out this other Max, then things are looking fine for AAA at the moment. Although, look, the damage is going in at the top. Sneaky.
Yeah, definitely. 50% damage at this point in the game. Not a bad place to find yourselves. And, you know, I think that Clash is showing really, really good signs of just control. And it's very difficult when you're under that kind of pressure to kind of like get that out of your head. Clash are very, very much so inside the heads of AAA right now, and not a great place to find yourself in Heist, because, you know, it's very difficult under pressure to defend. It's as simple as that. And that's why we're seeing this absolute devastation. Wow.
All right.
That was pretty quick.
Match point up next, Arc, and AAA have got a lot of work to do to take this one back. They're going to need to win 3 sets in a row and not drop a game in this first one. Let's see how they throw down as the game begins. And it all comes down to this for AAA. Could this be the end of their tournament life?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of pressure on their hands, and you know, Clash more than capable of showing that they can control a mirror comp scenario here. As look at this damage going down, just pretty much just giving a fair chance to get that damage raining down. That's a good start. That is a very good start. You can't deny that.
No, 61% already, or even Brock sneaking in that super, just getting that damage as fast as possible. If it does become a base race, then Clash have a sheer advantage, which means AAA have to play defensive so hard here, as the damage does start to come in from AAA. But it looks like this Brock Max, in fact, they're just going to run for it. They're going to run for the other safe.
Yeah.
They know they've got the advantage. They can do it.
Yeah, they're just going to literally just clobber it and rush it, and there's nothing really in terms of risk, and that is it. Clash, very, very strong in this competition. Wow.
Well, we thought that they were going to bring everything they could to this one, and they clearly did, although maybe they've got even more up their sleeves. We'll find out soon. Thank you so much to AAA for playing. It's such a shame that we didn't get to see more, and to be honest, is there anything they could have done? Like, are there any brawlers you would have liked to see them try out to see if they could upset Clash?
And they could have gone with something kind of risky, like a Shelly pick to kind of counter the Rosa, or something that was going to really shut down some of the controlling, more tankier options that we saw there. But, you know, it was always going to be a difficult battle for me. Clash have got so much experience in the competitive scene, competing on a much more, I would argue, regular basis than AAA. So it was always going to be a David versus Goliath scenario for me.
And in Siege, in that first map, we saw quite a similar lineup. We had Pam versus Pam in the mid lane. We had Brock versus Brock as well. So actually, there was quite a similarity sometimes in the compositions they were bringing. Why were Clash able to be successful, though, in those matches?
Clash.
I think
Sorry.
Go ahead, bro. No, you take it.
Clash are just one of these teams. They've been together for quite a long time. They've got the teamwork down. The communication is such a large part in Brawl Stars that differentiates different teams and different skills. Just slightly better accuracy here, slightly better teamwork there. It all adds up.
Well, let's find out how Sven added things up, because we're going to head over to what I'm now calling Analyst Bedroom. I'm working on it.
Thank you, Frankie. So Clash just showing how good they are again in that one. AAA from Russia did defeat Stars, a real big upset there, but this one was just too much to handle for AAA. Clash just coming off victorious and completely stomping on their opposition. So to break it down, in the first set, Deeper Danger, both teams ran the same composition. They went for the more generic comp of the Brock, Mr. P, Tick, which is the comp you see all the time. And Clash just completely outsmarting their opponents. Chaos is a really good Brock, and he completely dominated in the first game, just showing how good he is with Brock. And then a Brave Ring from AAA, they chose for counter comp. They went with the Mortis, and it worked out really well. Laulu completely dominating them games, showing how good of a Mortis he is. And then going on to the third game, Clash noticed that they needed to use the Rosa to get the control of the mid, and boy did they do that, because the whole game they had their whole grass in the middle just covered, and they completely dominated from start to finish, bringing off victorious in that one. And then moving into Siege Factory Rush, the open map as I said before, and Clash running with the generic comp of Pam, Brock, BB. So that's definitely the better comp, and they did completely outsmart their opponents. So that one, they lost the first Siege bot and then got control again for the last two rounds. So well played for Clash, they kept control and dominated on Siege. And then third set, Heist Hot Potato. So in these ones, both teams went the same comp for both games, but Guille on that Brock and Chaos on that BB are just completely incredible, completely stealing the show. Guille was. He was going for the safe a lot of the times. It might not be the flashiest of plays, but you could just see him just avoiding their enemies and just going straight for the high safe with that incendiary style power, just getting so much damage on the safe. And Chaos on the BB is just incredible to see. He always outsmarts the enemy with the way he plays BB. So definitely big props to Clash. They completely dominated in them games. Definitely the team to look out for and be favourites for the whole tournament. Back over to you, Frankie.
Thank you very much, Sven. We'll hear from you after our second semi-final, which is going to be Germany's Wave versus Japan's Jupiter. And earlier on, we saw that Wave are so good at dominating the map, getting that space early, but Jupiter are fantastic at crowd controlling with their brawlers. So who do you think's going to have the edge with that in mind, Trid?
Oh, it's a tough call. I think that I gave the edge in this one over to Jupiter. I think that they might be able to pull away with this one based on what we've seen so far, because they've had increased levels of domination over their competition in comparison to Wave. That being said, I think this is probably looking like the closest matchup we're going to see at the tournament so far.
Ooh, Falcone, do you agree?
Yeah, entirely, actually. I mean, we've seen some amazing things from Wave, and I can't help myself. I'm looking at the Brawl Stars global leaderboards, and I've got to bring this up again. Jupiter are third place globally. Well, joint second place, actually, globally. They are the best performing team that we have in the M.E.O. in the Supercell circuit. So, I have to, just based on the pure stats, I have to give the edge to Jupiter. But I agree with Trid. These are both great teams. I cannot wait for this match.
Well, boys, we're not just collecting trophies here. There is money on the line. There's a worldwide reputation at stake, and that Red Bull M.E.O. Season 2 title. So let's get into the second semi-final and find out who is going to be joining Clash in the finals.
All right, let's do this. It's going to be Bounty to start this one off. Jackie from Jupiter does get that first star, and let the mayhem begin. As Waves, Jackie runs in, does some damage, and does get out of there with her life. But there is one elimination, so it doesn't look like Wave have got that tiny, tiny advantage at the moment.
It does mean that Jupiter picked up that first star as well, which in theory gives them the lead. But I think we spoke about it earlier in the broadcast, Falcone, that there's always that trade-off, right? You can only go for that star if you're safe, because you can see you end up in a situation like this where now you just have the rest of Wave is trying to defend.
What? Okay, Jackie Super into the score. It's 4-4, but Rosa caught between a Jackie and a Jean does mean that Wave gets that early advantage. Rosa does walk straight into Jackie there, takes some damage, but is able to retreat. If Wave can play this one safe, it is possible that they can win without another single elimination happening this game.
And then Jackie's in position as well with that super, so you got to keep an eye on that one. If he gets in and gets all three of them, it could be huge, but he only finds two.
Does only find two and doesn't manage to turn any of them into eliminations. Yes, he does. Takes out the other Jackie. That is 2 stars. Closing the gap a little bit, but Wave still find themselves 3 stars ahead. It looks like the whole of Jupiter are ready for another attack, though. Here they go! As Rosa uses the super, Jackie deals a lot of damage against the other Jackie, and with Poco's help, they do get an elimination. Rosa takes down Jean as well. The score is 12-12, and Jupiter have seen enough. They are retreating. They've closed the gap, and now they want to get their health back.
Yeah, with the score even, they don't need to go on the aggression anymore. They can try and hold it in the middle with their 15 seconds remaining, Falcone.
Jupiter managed to get 2 more eliminations, 3 more eliminations. That is a team wipe. 20-12, and Wave are still spawning. Jupiter are going to take the first game this set.
First map going in their way, and you could see how hard Jupiter were trying to make this work. They were waiting their time when they had to take the aggression to them, so they were going in sync with the supers online as well, so they're getting maximum value when they're trying to go on the offensive. And the second they equalized, they pulled it back and then made Wave fight on their terms.
Yeah, and that was one of the best games that we have had so far today, and I think hopefully that's a nice setup for this entire match that we've got to look forward to as map number 2 begins. As the Battle of the Jackies in the center there, it looks like Jupiter do get away with the first star. Jackie goes in, does manage to make it back with her life. Can Rosa do some damage there? Ooh, she gets pulled in by Jean and eliminated. It was too risky. It was too much of a big push. Maybe Poco and Jackie can get the damage in. Jackie does get 2 eliminations there. She's going to retreat, and now it's 5-5.
So that wasn't... So we had Jean going in there, and it wasn't exactly... he had a lot of impact just beyond the use of the magic hand there. The puffs that were coming out, healing his team, helping them all get up to health faster than their opponents, just by virtue of having that star power active, made the fight more favorable for Jupiter. As you can see, though, still equalization coming out from their opponents.
And now it gets really interesting because both teams are sort of going forwards, having a poke, retreating, letting the health get back, poking again. Although it does look like Wave are edging forwards, and Jackie with the super gets a lot of damage, and Rosa coming in to back her up. Gets pulled in by Jean. But can she take out Brock? Yes, she can, using her super as well. Jackie gets pulled in by the other Jackie, but thanks to Poco helping out, the Waves Jackie survives, and now they've got a 5-star advantage. With only 40 seconds left this game, they may have just turned the tide.
You need to get Jackie to burn that super in a way that you don't end up dying. If that happens, then Jean can come in and get the pull and find that 5-star target. If he does that when the super's still up, it could go horribly wrong for Jupiter.
Alright, 20 seconds left. 2 stars in it. 1 elimination would be enough. There goes the super as
Beautiful.
Rosa gets eliminated. It's 10-10. 10 seconds remaining. Somebody needs to get an elimination, or this is going to be a tie. But it doesn't look like any team is in the position to do it.
No, it's going to be walking away with a draw. Everyone disengaged. They'd rather not risk it. And so, they're going to pull themselves out of this one and make it so it is a draw. So, I believe we've still got another map to play in this one. Potentially a 4th map, depending on which way it goes.
Yeah, fascinating. I believe with a draw in Bounty, it's just going to be a regame. So here we go. As Jupiter's Jackie does get the start, does manage to make it back. Rosa gets eliminated as well, but Jackie chases down Jean. Now Jupiter's Jackie uses the super, but gets so low on health with only 26 health remaining. The score is 3-3. We're in that same position where both teams desperately need to find an elimination.
And with that Jackie super coming in, they weren't able to get the full extension or the full reposition because terrain was able to block. So it was great presence of mind from Nova King to get into that little cubby hole to stop himself being dragged too far away from the safety of his team. With the scores being equal, it's a good position here for Wave to take in the center of the grass so they can have that anonymity and make sure that they're being aggressed upon still while they hold all the cards.
But Brock and Gene are doing a fantastic job of hitting these shots with the range that Wave doesn't have access to. Jackie goes in, does manage to deal some damage, retreats, goes back in again, does take down Gene. That means that Wave are now in the lead and they just need to retreat. They need to get themselves into a safe position. They don't have the range that Jupiter does, so they just need to take advantage of those corners, take advantage of those bushes, and deal the close damage whenever they can.
Yeah, so that when people like the Brock come in here with the Rocket Rain, they're able to get rid of that cover and open up the sightlines to abuse that range advantage, as you so astutely noticed there, Falcone. And because of this, they've cleared the terrain and forced the rest of Wave to go back. 7-6 scoreline with 30 seconds remaining.
Oh, 1 star in it. Rosa's getting cornered on her own on the left side there. But it looks like Jackie and Poco are managing to take some of that aggro. Jupiter's Jackie and Brock coming around, but Rosa rejoins her teams. They just need to stay alive. Is that going to cut it? Maybe they are going to need to get an elimination here. This could literally go either way. Jupiter need to make one last big push. The pull happens. Rosa survives. No eliminations happen, and the score does finalize at 7-6 with Wave taking the first set this match.
I believe that was a...
Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, of course, the last game was a draw, right? So it's 1-1, isn't it?
Yeah, 1 apiece.
Oh,
like I said, we're going to get a map 4 out of this one.
What
well,
a set.
effectively a map 4.
All right.
Going to be jumping into that 4th map now, Falcone. And adaptation coming in. I think that's a Poco on the side of Wave, and there's no adaptations for the side of Jupiter.
Okay, all right, interesting. So, yeah, okay. So the first elimination does go to Wave. Wave are looking pretty good right now. A lot of work for Jupiter to take this one back, and now this is important. One more loss from Jupiter will mean that all of that hard work, winning that first game this set, does go to waste. They're going to need to push.
Right into the center with that super, pulls them all together, but they're not going to find what they want here. Good reaction coming in from Nova King to go on the response. So sitting on 10 stars total for the side of Wave as they take the fight in the most dominant start to a bounty we've seen in this entire series.
Yeah, Rosa does get eliminated on Wave's side, unfortunately, but they do have a 5-star lead, and again, they can afford to just chill, relax, and sit at the back of the map now. And yeah, it does look like they are going to make Jupiter come to them. Again, they don't quite have the same range that Jupiter does, but Rosa goes in there now with the super. Jackie and Poco, all of them are in the thick of it, and it's paying off. They've managed to corner Jupiter's Rosa on her own, and now the score is 17-5.
And it's a great presence of mind from Nova King there to activate the super, pull the Rosa away from the squishier target that is your Poco, and make sure that he is safe and doesn't have to burn his own healing super, which he's able to keep hold of right now. Skyrix then reinvigorates his team so they're able to go into the fight and make sure they do not lose any of these precious stars.
This is absurd. 17-9, and Rosa is dominating Gene and Jackie there. Takes out the Gene, tries to follow it with the Jackie, but decides it's just not worth it. But 22-9, Wave's Jackie doesn't care. She's going in there. She gets eliminated. It doesn't matter. Now, this time, I'm calling it correctly. Wave are going to take the first set this match.
First set going over, so that's Bounty going the way of Wave, and we have potentially up to 4 more maps coming your way, depending on how the series went. And if map number 1 is any indication, Falcone, I think this could be our first map to go the distance. We're going to be moving over to Siege.
I really hope so. This is getting spicy, Trid, and this is exactly what I want to see. Let the brawl begin, as BB now appears on Wave's side. Pam there for Jupiter with Ems and Poco. Oh,
so BB comes... I was going to say, BB comes at like this additional risk right now because unlike a lot of other Siege maps, there's a lot of open territory that the BB is going to have to navigate through without cover. Doing a very effective job of it so far as Nova King is just able to start beasting down members of Jupiter, and they will get that first Siege bot at level 4.
That was beautiful timing, Trid, as you're saying how risky BB is. She's just there, like, hack and slashing the other team to pieces. Amazing. And yeah, level 4 Siege bot going to be going straight in there. BB looks like she's going to try and follow it and get the members of Jupiter off of the Siege bot. She's going to be dealing some damage herself, but meanwhile, Jackie and Jean, they're just hanging back. They've got complete control of the center of the map. They want the next Siege bot, and it shouldn't be much of a struggle for them to get it.
Yeah, I think about the bolt economy. They're using the siege bot really to clear some space. Only 13% damage isn't substantial, but it's more about the mid-control, the value they're getting, as you've alluded to right now. They're sitting on 5 bolts, made that 6. It's going to be 7. This is going to be an absolute nightmare for Jupiter to deal with. And they're just trying to brute force the Ike right now and try and get damage that way. Never the most efficient, because right now you've got a level 8 siege bot running at your own place. Now, you've got the respawns in, but you've mistimed it for the invulnerability shield.
Yeah, I mean, that was a very interesting way of going. Not only 10% damage done to Waves Ike, but either way, it doesn't look like it's going to be paying off. The Siege bot did get stopped there and is about to get eliminated. It looks like it's going to take one more Siege for Wave to take out Jupiter's Ike, but they do still have pretty good control of the center of the map. Now is Jupiter's chance, though, to push and get the next Siege bot. They could still win this game.
Oh, absolutely. They're going to need a very powerful siege bot to make it happen in the last siege because they have a 34% deficit to catch up on this one. Their brute force attempts aren't working, Falcone, and there's 8 bolts in favor of Wave. There is absolutely zero way that Jupiter walk away with the victory on this map. This is a done deal.
Yeah, that's gonna be the game right there. Still 90% left on Waves Ike. It just doesn't matter what happens here, unless by some miracle the entirety of Jupiter teleport to Waves Ike and deal a lot of damage instantly. That is going to be the first game of this set going to Wave, and that was a very strong performance. Jupiter didn't appear to stand a chance there.
Yeah, I'm struggling to see where that instantaneous damage, even if they did teleport, I'm struggling to see where the instantaneous damage comes from. Because you've got Polko that deals with a wave, you've got Pam that takes a slightly longer attack time because of the way that the attack is. It's a series of pellets that get fired out. And then you've also got Ems who benefits over damage over time. Yeah, the target's stationary, so you will hit all the dots, but it's not instantaneous if you wanted to do that burst and out-damage the damage coming from the Ike.
Alright, well, here we are with Jackie grabbing that first bolt up against a Bull. That's a little bit scary, but Jackie was able to survive, take the bolt, and Jean with the super does take good care of that Bull, while BB on the other side of the map just doing incredible work with that sword. Level 4 siege bot already for Wave, and that is a very strong start.
Yeah, this pick here that Skyrix is going to get could be quite beneficial. Now, it's really on the side of Jupiter to burn some time and allow that invulnerable El Primo to come back and start tanking up hits. They time it right this time. Primo's going to do it. Great magic hand from Skyrix. Yeah. Stops that deterrence that was coming in. But fantastic job by Jupiter. They keep their health at 100% despite all of that.
Yeah, that was actually really nuts. Level 4 siege bot was hard to defend against. However, unfortunately for Jupiter, the next 3 bolts were picked up by Wave, and now that's going to be 5 bots. El Primo just launching himself at Wave's Ike, but once again, it wasn't all that successful. Jupiter have gone for a much more tanky lineup this time, but so far it's not doing the work, as it's now level 7 siege bot.
Yet again, the situation comes in where Jupiter's trying to get the damage in without the siege bot, and they're getting instances of it, but there's some great maneuvers, particularly by Skyrix, that's shutting this strategy down. First of all, Primo goes in with the elbow drop, gets pulled away by the magic hand. Then you see Bull rush in with his own super, gets deflected by the gadget from Jean as well to create that space and mitigate the damage. This could be going so much worse for Wave, but those small micro plays from the Jean are keeping this strategy down.
Yeah, I mean, what I will say for Jupiter, however, is that that's a level 4 and a level 7 siege bot they've just defended themselves against. They've only taken 22% damage on their Ike. That's not bad at all. In fact, they are winning. Oh, for a second, they were winning in terms of damage. So if they
are winning in terms of damage.
Oh, yeah, they are. They're right. But now with the level 10 siege bot, however, Jupiter aren't going to be able to do that much to stop this by the looks of things.
There's a bit of a use of a gadget execution there by Daryl. He needs to get up fast to get the respawns. He's not in place for it. That's going to start wailing on it. You're never going to be able to out-damage 3 members of a team at a siege bot. So that is the siege going the way of Waze.
I don't know what Jupiter was doing at the end there. The camera wasn't on it, but But
They were going for a safe rush. They were going for Ike rush because they had the lead. They thought that maybe if they got one defense with the invulnerability shield, they might be able to prolong that time and buy more time for themselves to deal damage.
Wave
they didn't get
Wave took a lot of damage at the end there. Like, we're talking almost 50% of the Ike. It's crazy.
Yeah, because there was no deterrence there as there had been in the past. That was the biggest factor for it. The issue being that you've got a level 10 siege bot and the invulnerability was mistimed on your Daryl, so he's not able to soak up the damage he should have been able to buy more time and stop that siege bot from dealing damage itself.
Yeah, it's just cool to point out like that game was almost actually a lot closer than it looked. But here we go. It's going to be our third set, and unfortunately Jupiter, I mean, to our surprise, they're not holding their own against Wave quite as well as it looked like they would be, but there still could be plenty of time left this match.
That's kind of just the story of the scoreline, though. I don't think it's entirely reflective of how close the match actually is.
No, that's absolutely true. Yeah.
So we'll see how this one continues to pan out. They've got that early frag and early damage on, but it's just chipping away. It's nothing substantial yet on this safe.
In fact, Jupiter, well, they are now getting some substantial damage in, 69%. All three members of the team there, they're just wailing on that safe right now. The invulnerable respawns come in, Daryl rolls in as quickly as possible, but the other Daryl comes in from the side. He's going to be dealing even more damage now, 20% remaining. Can Wave defend? Can they save the last 16%? 12%. Ems comes in. That's going to be 7%. 5, 3, 1. 1% remaining. And Daryl is going to push it back.
You don't come back from this, Falcone. 1%, it doesn't matter how much damage you deal to the safe now. If someone gets through your line of attrition, it is over. They could tickle the safe and it will die.
Yeah, there it is. There's the tickle, and Jupiter are going to take the first game this set. Oh, man, that was a fantastic push from Jupiter.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of power going into that first initial push, which really gave them the edge. And as soon as you hit that 1%, well, like I said to you, Dan, it's all over. You don't come back from that because you're just so vulnerable to a lot. Even if you had the perfect push, someone could always sneak through.
Yeah, just anything. Even a long range like Daryl shotgun shot will do it, right? Like that's
just a tiny crumb of damage is enough. Jump into game number 2 on Heist. And no adaptations really coming in here, apart from the side of Wave. You know, you got the Brock, the Jackie, and the Daryl coming out on this one as well. And the Daryl is obviously, we saw how powerful it could be because he closed the gap. There's M.E.O getting that first kill as well.
Oh man, I love to see it though when Brock decides, no, I'm going in for it now. Obviously, it wasn't quite strong enough to take care of the M's, but now we see damage going into both safes. In fact, wow, is Wave retreating? Yeah, because of the M's. Wave
no,
safe.
they're not.
No, they're not. Oh my goodness! What? That was a blink and you miss it game.
So the logic behind doing that is that the damage output on the side of Wave is so much higher than what could be produced on the side of Jupiter. So if they go for the safe rush, even if the Ems is back trying to play defense, they bait out the super, wait for the most of the duration to go, and then go back in on the assault. They got 3 people on the safe, whereas Jupiter could only put 2 on Waves, meaning they would always out damage it, and they got that all-important super from Ems to make sure they were safe to do so.
Right. Well, there you go. That was going to be an evening out the set from Wave. This could go either way. It's potentially match point, but it could also be the start of a comeback from Jupiter. I'll have to wait and see.
You don't have to wait very long.
No, these are some short games as it begins. The battle at the center of the map as neither team lets the other through the cracks. Daryl from Wave side does roll through though, finishes off the other Daryl, and now is going to beeline it to that safe. Ems does manage to take out Brock though, so it's not fully one-sided, but Jackie and Daryl are going to be bashing that safe with everything they've got. Daryl comes through with the defense, and Ems being invulnerable does help that out, but 65% already.
Yeah. Surprising engagement there happening for Nova King to actually win that out against the Jackie. He used his gadget to get on top of a close range brawler when you really want to keep them at arm's length and abuse the range. Still manages to get the kill though, so kind of confused about how that happens, Falcone, not gonna lie, as they're trying to press up against this safe yet again. M's forced to use gadget and super in that defense for what didn't seem to be a fully committed push by Wave, so that's going to come back to bite them when they now commit to the damage.
Right, absolutely. 50% now, 46 now, as the damage, we can't see it, but damage is being dealt by Jackie to Jupiter safe. More damage comes in, 35%. Brock appears with the super. Daryl gonna roll in. Is he gonna deal with the brawlers? Nope, go straight for the safe. That is 3%. It just takes one more attack from someone. If that Brock can get through past the M's, yeah, that's gonna do it. And Wave take the match.
So they're going to be going over to our final, and it means that Jupiter will have to play in that third, fourth place match that's going to be coming up shortly.
Well, that was very satisfying, wasn't it, gentlemen? We have our two final teams in Wave and Clash. But actually, Jupiter putting up an impressive fight there at times, Tread.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, as I said to Falcone at the start of Heist, the scoreline wasn't really reflecting how close the match was at times, and I feel maybe a few different decisions were made throughout the course of the series could have seen a different outcome on the series. Well, unfortunately, they don't have that beauty of a redo, so they're going to have to duke it out in the third, fourth place match.
Exactly. They don't have the beauty of a redo, but there is a third place, a bronze medal up for grabs, so they're going to be taking on the Dark Horses from Russia, AAA, for that very, very shortly. But before then, we're going to head over to our analyst, Ben, to find out what he had to say about our second semi-final.
Thank you, Frankie. Yeah, that was such a shock on the cards. Wave Esports coming off victorious 3-0. A complete sweep, which is a real surprise to most people because a lot of people know how good Jupiter are. But Wave really, really strong in that one. So let's break it down. So going into set one, it was Deeper Danger. The plays on this one to watch out for were the Jackie. The Jackie plays were really, really good on both teams. Definitely coming in clutch, picking up loads of kills on both sides of things. But you saw a lot of rock, paper, scissors on this set. You saw a lot of teams switching between comps and then going what the other team went. So they switched out the poker for the Gene and then vice versa. And the Gene lost both times. So I'm not too sure why Jupiter switched back to the Gene because it didn't work for Wave Esports. The Poco always coming off victorious just because of how many heals you can get with the Poco gadget and the Poco star power. So definitely well played on Wave Esports for that one. On to set two, it was Factory Rush Siege. So it's a really open map. The more generic comp for this one is like the Pam, Brock, Penny / BB. And I didn't really see that from Jupiter. They'd just thrown off a completely random comp, to be honest. It was the Poco M's, which just doesn't work together. And you kind of showed because Wave Esports just completely dominated. Poco is just not that good on Siege, and they've thrown it out there as a surprise pick. And then going on to the second game of Siege, Jupiter went for the dive strategy. So they went for the triple tank, which is really, really interesting. You actually see this randomly being brought out by teams, and it can come off to good effect because one of the tanks building up a super and diving on the Ike can deal up to 30% damage. So if a couple of tanks get good combinations together and diving on the Ike, all you need is 3 good dives and you're going to be ending the game without a siege bot. So it's really, really good. But Wave did a really good job of keeping the control, keeping the siege bots going and winning that game in the end. Then the final set, Hot Potatoes. So we did see it Jackie in Heist, which I don't really see a lot, but it worked to really good effects for Jupiter in the first game, picking up the win and completely dominating that one. And then Wave saw how good Jackie were and then mirrored it, but used the Brock mid instead of the M's. Brock mid with the Incendiary style power just completely melts the high safe, as you saw in that second game, just completely dominating in the middle. And then the teams went the same comp again. Brock just dominating again and Wave coming off victorious. A real shock on the hands. I really didn't see Wave coming off 3-0. I definitely would have thought it would have been a much closer game, but Wave showing how good they are. Back over to you, Frankie.
We've got the considered picks of Jupiter. They clearly put a lot into their comps. But then AAA, they love to be unpredictable. We might see some more risky picks like Mortis. Are you hoping to see that right now, Ark?
Oh, yeah. I mean, who doesn't want to see a Mortis pick?
Me. Stop it. Stop it. Just get it out of my games. I don't want to see it.
Let's get into this game before you two start fighting. I'm just going to keep my nose out of this one. Mortis, no Mortis. We're about to find out.
Thank you very much, Frankie. Yes, that's right. AAA going up against Jupiter in our bronze medal match. They're not going to be able to taste the delicious success of World Championship, but they're going to be able to go for the bronze instead and recreate that funny meme where they're pouring champagne and whatnot all over themselves and on a podium as well.
Sprout alert! We got a Sprout!
The Sprout is here!
I know! I couldn't contain it.
I suppose now a bit of the pressure's off with the third place match. You're not, you don't have to go, oh, it's all or nothing now. Maybe you feel a little bit more confident bringing it out. So we're going to see what this bad boy can do in competition.
Yeah, I mean, with that super, the area denial could be really, really advantageous here for Jupiter, and already a great start. The amount of damage already dealt, and Ems is now going to add a ton more to that, and yeah, really, really solid push for Jupiter for sure.
Even more so, this is more of a foil towards this particular composition because they have no throwers. They can't get their damage over the terrain. So Sprout being played defensively here is going to be huge.
Yeah, it was a really good, solid pick to happen at a very early stage because they were just kind of
They don't even need to play defense. Look at this.
I know. Absolutely.
Already. Unbelievable.
It was a smart pick by going in straight away with thrower. Well, we haven't really seen any throwers really making a difference today. So, you know, in that respect, no one really saw it coming. And if they were to do that sort of, you know, they might even now think next time round maybe we won't do that to mix things up. But I like that Sprout pick. We saw it making a big difference straight off the bat there.
Absolutely. Let's jump into game number 2. They keep these games coming fast, Ark, because that was a fast match, and we're going to see more of it. Sprout being stuck with any adaptations on the side of AAA. Well, they got the BB and the Daryl, so a beefier front line now to try and support the Ems' pursuit onto the safe.
Yeah, you say fast and no kidding there with the BB star power of home run there, getting the takedown as well. What a great aggressive start now we are seeing for AAA. It's kind of all turned on its head. I think the BB pick was a solid choice as well as the Daryl, and a much better, more confident start then for AAA than we saw in the previous round.
Dropping it down to 41% on the first push. You'd love to see it, Ark, and now it's for Jupiter to go ahead and hit them back just as hard, but they're struggling to get outside the spawn right now. They're being boxed in into their own half, and they can use that M super to try and get away. BB turns back. Big mistake. You can't escape it now, and you can't commit. But they're still attacking the safe. Daryl left relatively uncontested. They're committing so much to get the kill on there, and they'll finally catch him. But they burnt so much time and so much HP.
Yeah, a bit of a miss there for Jupiter. I feel if they'd done that wall, that protective wall from Sprout early, it was going to be over already for sure. One BB bubble and that one was going to be all over really. And yeah, if that kind of Sprout super had been dealt just a little bit sooner, Daryl would have bounced off of that wall. They did it a bit late. Once they did it, it was kind of blocking the path of the Brock rockets from dealing damage. And yeah, a little bit of a miss, but it's going to be interesting now going into this this final game of Heist to see which of these two teams is going to come out with this first set.
Well, as they press forward, got a Daryl. They're getting rid of the Sprout this time around, not seeing the value. Bull, Daryl, Ems. They want a beefy front line, and they want to get them to deal that damage early. There's that shield going in from the Bull to get in close. He wants to go straight to the safe, and now in full retreat for Jupiter because they know they're going to have to play defense right now. Early damage going in favor of the Japanese superstars.
Yeah, we're surprised to see no Berserker style power for Bull there, opting to go with the more tankier kind of shield. So for area control, the Daryl's running rolling relay, which I think for me, I like the idea of more dealing that damage quicker on the safe, but at the moment, pretty even, not gonna lie, and we're gonna see as Jupiter advance now whether the Bull can connect, and they're gonna be looking to pinch this from both sides, I would think.
Yeah, just going to maximize the damage best they can. They've got it down to 63% right now, and Ems has so much control. By putting that super that goes through the terrain, she's actually cutting off the angles, and she can just kite around the terrain and stop damage from coming in. Meanwhile, clear line of the safe, by the way, so just able to carry on pounding the enemy safe and creating this huge disparity you're seeing right now.
Yeah, I like that from Milk Rio, just kind of being very cautious to pop the super and force back the BB. And now, though, it's up to Daryl on his own. The BB Bull going in a much closer game. It's got to be said from both of these two teams, much less one-sided, and that excites me in the first round here. Moving on to these next sets, I like to see close games, Trid.
Well, there's the rush in from the Bull, gets that early damage and gets the attack done. It wasn't a Bull, sorry, it was the Daryl that went in there, dropping it down to 31%. Now Bull's going to go in, clear a path, and like I said, Daryl immediately afterwards. The barrage of damage, unstoppable, and Jupiter will take away Heist.
It could have gone either way, but I really felt like Jupiter did deserve that victory. It was a really, really strong final push. Very, very calculated. They weren't. They were cautious to not sort of overly extend too soon. That could have been a bad thing for them to do, and could have turned it into the favor of AAA. But they remained composed. They got the job done. Jupiter in a good spot now, moving into this second set.
Oh, you got to be kidding me! Look at this map. What is this map arc? What is it? What is it doing in professional play?
I love it. I know what you're talking about, Trid. This map for me, I gotta say though, I don't know since the introduction of gadgets for Bo whether it's quite as exciting to see Snake Prairie now as it used to be, because we do see the same strategy occurring a lot now with that totem to charge up your super faster. Teams will often kind of like hunker down and just kind of keep going back to that for a strategy. The Tara gadget, as well as we know, showing up brawlers in the bush. It does slow the game pace down a bit, but I like the Sprout pick. Breaking that left-hand side, I think it's an interesting strategy early on.
Yes, you're going to be able to create those little gaps in the terrain, so you can at least start doing some in and out counting to know how many enemies are nearby, because that's the scariest part about this map arc, is you don't know what's lurking around the corner, and any information you can do to change that is going to be super important there. So still only 1 star, 0 kills in over a minute on this map. Everyone is playing this so passively. You see Sprout trying to cut off these avenues of attack right now and abusing the throwing nature of his attacks.
Yeah, I don't know about this Sprout pick though, Trid. I don't know how you feel about this. Is it worth the value of just being able to corner off a section of the map? Wouldn't it be more advantageous to go with like a Piper or a Brock or like a long-range brawler? Because if someone gets close enough to Sprout who doesn't have super, you're going to be in a world of hurt.
Absolutely, and now this map has seen better days, Arc. Look at it, it's an absolute shambles. They're going to see every attack coming in. Sprout's going to move aggressively with this one, try and cut off the attack. That's a very dangerous position for Milk Braille to take, but with the gravity coming in. And Eagles has the star power to back it up with a Shadow Clone on the assault. This is looking like it's going the way of Jupiter. 5 seconds remaining. Sprout throwing out that last lick of damage. It's 7-4, 2 seconds, and they're not going to find that final kill. It means Jupiter will take the first map of Snake Prairie.
It was a very close, exciting finish with Jupiter getting the win. Again, continuing this pattern that we're seeing from them. Gotta be feeling pretty confident. They're gonna maybe think through whether they're gonna keep the same comp or change the comp now. I'm still not sure about this Sprout pick though. I mean, I see the strategy, but I don't know, bro.
I don't think this is the right map for it. I think there are stronger maps and archetypes you can really get the benefit of it. So I think maybe Snake Prairie is not the best proving ground for its competitive viability. To jump into game number 2, early start picked up by Jupiter, so they gain that initial control, and with a kill from Ponkotsu as well. It's going to be hard to find a different script to what we saw last game.
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure. As we're seeing again, that bow gadget, that totem charge is so viable now on this map, and I'm not gonna complain, Trid. I think you've been doing that enough for me. I'm kind of starting to wonder which of us is the boomer here today, actually, from from how much you seem to dislike this map.
I just think it's like, you know, it's an I don't know, what's my best way to describe my dislike for Snake Prairie? It's like if you opened up a present and inside the box was a spring that loaded onto the end of a boxing glove. So you open up the box, which is the brush in this, and then all of a sudden you get like an El Primo in your face for some reason, and you had no way of predicting it was going to happen. So that's what I don't like about Snake Prairie, is just that everything is just hidden. And you're not able to get away with as much. It doesn't seem honest. It's not an honest map arc. It's very dishonest combat.
The passion of you and your feelings towards Snake Prairie, Trid. I could listen to it all day. 30 seconds left then on this game. A comfortable lead for Jupiter, but it can all turn around if the spawn trap could be placed by AAA. Great suck, double suck there as well. Extending that lead. I think Jupiter have got this one in the bag.
Oh, absolutely. This is Jupiter's map to take, so that's going to put them up to 2 sets in the lead, moving on to what could be our final map. So Jupiter, they couldn't get that taste of victory in the finals, but they're doing everything they can to make sure they get a podium finish when it comes to the Red Bull MEO.
Yeah, absolutely. Jupiter want their hands on that prize pool, and they are not showing any signs yet of slowing down. Going in to this third set, they can smell the money, Trid.
Oh, they can taste it as well at this point. It's basically there. It's basically there for the mark. Brawl Ball. Now, this is where I wanted to see Sprout, because we've seen some disgusting strategies come into play when it comes to boxing opponents in their own spawn. So if anyone loses control, this is going to spiral out of it very quickly.
Yeah, but having Sin now with that new balancing update, not nearly as strong as it used to be. What we're going to see now is if that does occur, teams having to decide very cautiously on whether to break those walls with their invincibility, because that is now the functionality of that Sprout super, allowing teams to get out of that spawn. Whereas prior to that balancing update, if you got caught in that spawn, you weren't getting out anytime soon.
No, it was all over. And they boxed off both entrances right now, so just waiting for the time to delay. They're burning through the time bank, right? Yeah. I don't know what the end game is, though, because if they just keep boxing them in but not progressing themselves, it makes it very hard for them to get much done and actually win the map beyond the draw. But there's that Hyper Bear going impressive, followed up with the stun as well from the Gadget. Try and buy them some time. Great defensive wall coming in from the Sprout of AAA to stop all the aggression and stop the ball from going in. But now, of course, they're boxed in. They can't really capitalize on this extra space they've created for themselves.
Yeah, I gotta say, I quite like this from Jupiter. I think it's a smart strategy. I mean, like, they basically took out the Nita Bear, which would have been a great cover to kind of push back upon Jupiter. So all this is just basically just to delay, just to control, like, you know,
great
with that gene pool, great gene pool, just breaking a bit of the side fencing there to give a bit more space. And
the panic button. You're coming near my goal. Let me just block this off so you can't do anything while the respawn's coming.
I think for me, Milk Rio here is looking to get a gene pool through some of this fencing and delaying that and just keeping the ball up forwards. It doesn't hurt, and we might even see a goal hit. No.
Oh, of course. What a surprise. The Sprout drops the super. The only way that this gets done is if there is a beautiful gene pool that pulls the Sprout to its death, gets them off the field, and then go for the goal score.
Yeah, Milk Rio's going to have to line up a shot, and I would probably hit. Yeah, he does so just to break open that defensive wall, and I think that might have been a bit late, to be completely honest here. With 20 seconds left, I mean, how much is that really going to play into this now?
They got the Sprout! They got the Sprout! They have to go now! They have to do something!
The best thing Jupiter can do
now
is
pull as well.
This. They've got to get a super.
This is going to be overtime, baby. There's not enough territory here for the Sprout to cover, so this is going to open up the goal. Play for overtime. Keep control. If you lose this, it's going to be all over. Take out the M's. No, the damage over time doesn't find Ponkotsu, but in the back corner with a 3v1. The ball in the spawn, essentially, of AAA, and they need to find a way to emerge. They misuse any of their supers. They're going to be on the hook for a goal deficit. Waiting for that G pool to come in. That could kickstart the action. Instead, they're going to pass it back. Great pull finds the Sprout. There's no defense coming in. Pass it out. Walk it in. He's going to try and get there. They need to find another kill. Ends with the disengage. It all went wrong when it should have gone so right for Jupiter.
Gotta hand it to AAA. There's a hold back on that M's gadget to the and in 10 seconds now we've got the ball for the first time in the other side of the pitch, and this could be the moment the game has turned. I don't think it's gonna happen.
I don't think it's gonna turn. I think we're ending on a draw here. Like this. No, it's not happening.
I don't know, Trid. I was actually on the edge of my seat because that Sprout had super, right? So whew. I mean,
what is he gonna do? Block himself off from the goal though?
Super shot.
What benefit do you... Oh, I suppose you have the super shot rather than the actual super usage. But I was going to say, like, why are you talking about using a super and creating more obstacles when there are no obstacles on the map? It makes no sense.
Trick shot?
Yeah, maybe. It's going to style them, flex in the bronze medal match. We move over to the second game of Brawl Ball right now. No real compositional changes, but early lead in favor of AAA as they get that first Sprout kill.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that we're still basically kind of back to level scoring, right? That game went on for so long. I kind of feel like Jupiter need to do more plays earlier on, and that would have been a good pull to make early on actually as well there, a bit of a miss. Otherwise, we are going to potentially see the same pattern emerging with Sprout walls and not finalizing and sealing the deal, Trid.
Yeah, so he's going to get damage. He's already got the Sprout wall back up when that one expires on the left-hand side if they come rushing out of spawn. trying to get in range, trade some damage back and forth, gets the frag again. They need to capitalize on the downtime when Sprout is off the map. They're going to get taken out by the invulnerability shield. They have quite a substantial advantage right now. Going to go for the pass on Kotsu, blocked off by Sprout. Unable to go ahead and score the goal, which was by right theirs.
That was fantastic defense. These gadgets coming into play so much so as at the moment all AAA are actually quite low. There's going to be a team wipe potentially on the cards here.
Get it.
The pinch
there we go.
in,
But no one's got the ball. No one's got control of the ball right now. They need to find a way to pass it back. Give it off the backboard. Rush it in. Ponkotsu with the goal. That's going to mean that they get that first lead, and we will not have a stalemate provided AAA don't come back with a goal of their own.
It's taken so long for a goal. I didn't know whether it was ever actually going to
I forgot what they look like, Ark. It's unreal.
I know, right? Oh, my goodness me. But finally, we are seeing a goal. And that is going to be, if nothing changes, a good place for Jupiter to find themselves in. If they can get this first game in the bag, it will go wonders for the next game to come.
Oh, and that tactic of kicking the ball into the corner to buy time is actually straight savage. Savage on this map and savage with the Sprout, because they're going to have to break terrain to get to it, because if they can just keep the super up, they can permanently box them away from the ball and make them burn all their resources to try and even touch it, let alone score a goal.
It's a great strategy, and I really, really like this from Jupiter. It's going to cause a real issue now, especially because...
They just can't.
Yeah.
They can't actually score. They don't have the time. It's over.
Nothing they can do. Really, really great strategy using Sprout there, and Team Jupiter showing us how to play this new brawler to great effect.
Well, there you go. They're going to go 1-0 on this map in particular after the game 1 draw. So they get one more victory. They're going to seal the deal, get themselves that 3rd place finish. Something more in line with a team of this caliber when you look at where they stand on the global stage in alternative competitions. But this is game number 3 coming on your screens right now. No real adaptation. Gene, Sprout, Nita. That's the play for Jupiters. They want to seal the deal.
Yeah, look at this change of comp here. From AAA, Rosa, BB, Poker. They're going with the double tank kill idea. And I think that's a wise choice. Whether it's a choice too late remains to be seen. And as Jupiter now pushing up with a Gene Super as well, the Sprout Walls coming into effect as well, just forcing Rosa's hand. I feel like I do like the changes that AAA are making. I think it just might be a little bit too late.
I think... Now, hear me out. I think they're in need of a bunker buster, right? They need someone to break down this terrain. Frankie has been begging for this all tournament.
Yes,
Dynamite. Sub him in, lads. Break down the wall. Keep your super. Break it all down. It's the perfect solution. Frankie was right all along.
Look at this right-hand side, though. Lalu's just stuck that...
He walked it in!
Yeah! It just completely eradicated Lalu from the picture with that Sprout Wall, so... I don't know. I think that, for me, I'm still going to go with the Sprout. I don't cover Frankie's ears. But
No. I'm saying that you get the Sprout on the side of AAA to counter. You get the Dynamite to counter the Sprout.
Oh, right.
Not that you use it as a Sprout replacement. You want to blow down the terrain, break it down, clear some space.
I like it, Trid. I like your thinking. This is exactly where I feel like you excel. A great pull there as well. Take down there. They need to bear in play still. Wonder whether they got a gadget or two up their sleeve as the Poker's forced back. Completely blocked off now, and Bruce survives.
No. Operation Save Bruce, 56 HP. Come on, lad. You can do it. Breathe. Come back to life. I don't even think Bruce knew. He was AFK away from his phone. He thought he was dead in the respawn, but he's come back. 30 seconds remaining. Goal still in hand of Jupiter. Great pull to shut down their options of attack right now, as BB will walk forward, trying to get up close and personal with the boys from Jupiter, the boys from Japan. 20 seconds remaining, and they're on the offense. Put it in the back corner, and then you can go ahead and Sprout wall it off. The tactic is in play. Yeah, nothing you can do. It's all over. This is done. Jupiter absolutely styled on AAA with this Sprout in Brawl Ball, and they will take away 3rd place at the Red Bull MEO.
My goodness me.
Congratulations to Jupiter for taking the 3rd place and €3,000 home to their native Japan, where I'm sure they'll be celebrated by their local Brawl Stars community. My big takeaway from this really is how Ark must be feeling, because he finally got to see Sprout and he got to see Sprout play to perfection in Brawl Ball there. Ark, how are you feeling?
I thought, Frankie, for a minute that you were going to say that I finally got to witness a prize pool. Fantastic. I mean, played to perfection, you've got to say. I mean, Jupiter really showed us how viable Sprout is in the competitive meta, and so surprising that we didn't see it being played more so earlier on today, but you know, who knows, maybe we'll see it coming up later as well. But yeah, fantastically well demonstrated there, and playing Sprout to perfection.
and Trid, are you okay, hun? Because you seem to be quite offended by Snake Prairie.
Oh yeah, Frankie, I think my hairline's receded by about 5 centimeters during that match. I'm actually molding. It's not a fan of Snake Prairie as a map type. I tried to give you a shout out there. Like, I found a perfect case use example for why Dynamite should have been played, and it just wasn't by AAA.
Now, Ark, Falcone, we don't have much time before we get into our grand final between Clash and Wave. So I'm going to come to you for your predictions. Ark, who is taking the top spot?
I think it's going to be close. I think that both of these two teams have got very, very strong lineups. I've got to say probably Clash, simply because they do play very frequently and competitive. They've demonstrated already a lot in the Brawl Stars Championships that they are consistently winning games, and they won the live stage there. They can smell the money. I'm going to say Clash.
Falcone, what about Wave? Do you think they can do it?
Now, the last few times I've made predictions tonight, they've been wrong. I want to agree with Ark. I mean, Clash are just, they're a name that are very well known in Brawl Stars. And, you know, Wave have been doing great. We've got Skyrix, one of the best players out there. But I do think that Clash is going to take this one down.
All right, gentlemen, let's do it. This is our grand final of Red Bull MEO Season 2 Brawl Stars. Let's get into it.
All right, Ark, jumping in to the first game. It's going to be a heist, and here we go. BB's on both sides with those amazing swords. Rosa and Brock coming in from the top, and wow, BB going to attack the Rosa from behind already.
Straight off the bat, look at this. A save rush. They're just going for it. It's
both teams.
So close.
It's just a race. What? Wave are going to take the first one down there. Can we get, like, I blinked.
I could see it coming. As soon as he started running down the far right-hand lane without care in the world, I knew it was going to be over in a blink of an eye. I wouldn't go on that as being any reflection of what's to come. We haven't seen anything yet, but as far as the first game goes, Wave.
All right, let's jump into game number 2. This time we do have a fight in the center. BB there for Wave does manage to push Rosa back. However, Clash are now moving forwards. There's a little bit of action on the safe here at the bottom, with Brock getting quite a few shots in, but Daryl isn't going to let that one fly.
Yeah, I think he got quite lucky actually there with a super that was generated obviously with Daryl over time, allowing him to roll in. Otherwise, I felt like actually Nova King had a good spot, a lot of range to his advantage, and did get contested though nonetheless. And otherwise, it would have been a lot more damage actually for Wave to gain there, as he rolls again onto Nova King, who again uses his gadget to try to avoid it. But pretty evenly matched start right now in terms of damage.
Absolutely, and now the action does take place on the top half of the map, and all Wave members are alive, but so weak as Daryl takes down BB and gets straight to that safe. The safe is going down. Safe is going down. Rosa alone isn't going to deal with this quickly enough, and BB is going to try and put a stop to her. 32 against 29, Ark.
Yeah, and that's BB Bill's going to be doing more damage there. I think if you just saw Skyrix just about got that bubble off, but now Trevor has to, but this should be a great, no, but knocked back by the BB swing, and Trevor now taking a lot of damage. It's up to iChaos now, and Guille to try to get something on this safe here on the right-hand side.
2 members of the team are there, they're damaging, and there goes the safe, with Clash evening the score on this first set. Wow. These are some insane games already.
Yeah, I think, like I say, both of these two teams definitely very evenly matched, and you know, it can go either way. I think that for me, I do like the way that Clash are playing quite patiently. I've got to say, like they're not kind of now after that first game is out the way going with anything too rush worthy, and I think that's a wise decision on their part. But these brawler picks, what do you think about the brawler picks that we're seeing currently at the moment?
Well, we're seeing very, very close range play generally, but there was just that one Brock in the last game. I don't recall if we're seeing that again. It's just a mirror comp at the bottom here. Rosa is dealing that damage, though, using the super. Is BB going to manage to... Yeah, okay, BB did put a stop to them. We'll see what's going on. Oh, and it's Brock and Brock. Yeah, it's complete mirror comp. So, yeah, I mean, mostly close. Brock seems to be good at close and long range nowadays, though. Like, Brock is just an insanely good brawler.
The wall being broken there by King as well is going to cause a lot of hassle here for Clash, as it looks like Wave had just taken the first set. This is a bit of a turn up for me.
I told you, Ark, when I make a prediction, it's wrong. I said Clash are going to win this one. Wave wins the first set.
That is now the golden rule. Whatever Falcone says, ignore it and just go with the opposite. Gotcha.
All right, well, there is a lot of bushes here in this next map. Coming up, Ark, it's going to be Bounty, and this is where the close range warriors sometimes reign supreme, though we do see Bo on both sides here.
Now, interesting enough, Scorex, I don't believe popped his gadget. Now he's going to pop it, more on the defense side of things, but look how much Clash are pushed up now as a result of not mirroring the popping of the gadget by Clash, who get the takedown on Scorex, and I think already a bit of a miss for me by Wave here in terms of that early game experience.
Yeah, now, Wave do have a slight advantage, though. By a single star, it's not going to take much for Clash to take that back, but again, it does put them in the better position. It is Clash that have to push here. Wave can play defensively. Wave can play strategically.
Kind of surprising for me that they actually came out on top of that situation, to be completely honest. Good super, though, from Trimmer gets the takedown, and now the tide has turned. Now Clash can go on the defense side of things, and yeah, I feel like they've already got a really good handle on this game, actually forcing Nova King down that channel, and now blocking off the right-hand side as well. This is a great position for them to capitalize on for sure.
Yep, absolutely. And now, as we've been seeing, Wave is having to push, and Wave aren't managing to be successful. Clash can get in these strategic defensive positions, and as we can see, it is Wave taking all of the damage here. Jackie comes in, and Jackie has to retreat again because she gets so weak. Brock there with the super destroys a lot of the bush, and nothing's changing here. Wave aren't making those eliminations that they need to make.
Clash have got this locked down, man. The right-hand side had mines, nothing that Wave could do about it. They were all bunched on the left-hand side. Yeah, it's super going out now, and surely more to come. It could all turn around. No, Clash got a handle on it. They got a handle on it. It looked for a minute like that could have turned bad, actually, for Clash, but they did hold themselves well in an awkward spot, and we'll take that first game.
Yeah, that was a pretty good game for Clash. Cannot deny that at all. They were able to confidently, after the beginning sort of slight hiccup, they were able to take things down comfortably, get themselves back, and defend their stars. But we're going to jump into the second game this set. Clash currently one set behind Wave, but this one game could even out the score.
Yeah, no real changes as far as brawlers go, but I've got to say, looking at how Clash were like just controlling the map in the previous game, I've got to think that they're going to do the same thing again, and you know, they just showed a real awareness to blocking off those sides quickly with mines and you know, Brock supers to just be able to see when the opposition goes between each half of the map there, and already again another Brock super already in place on that right hand side blocking that off.
Well, 5 versus 5, and oh, Jackie just about escapes with her stars. Brock not managing to confirm that frag. And now things have calmed down a little bit. We got players hiding on both sides.
This is what we're seeing again now in State Pro, is that it just comes to these points in the game when everyone just like hunkers down and gets their super, because it's a really good position. Actually, look at Trevor just breaking that side off completely. He'll go back now into that that totem to gain his super again. And, you know, this is what we see. It just slows the pace down, and both teams now at 5 stars each. There's no real reason to go on the aggressive.
I mean, Trevor having the real range there wants as little bush as possible because he wants to be able to, him and Bo, that they want to be able to take out these players from a range, want to be able to see them. But this game really has slowed to a stop. There is nothing going on here, just supercharging.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to be like this, to be completely honest, because, like, you know, you don't want to be that guy to throw the game, and it's far better in terms of a strategy to break the map up even more, like we're seeing Clash doing. Wave not really doing that themselves, but I actually prefer this strategy from Clash myself, because you really want to see, like, so early on where your enemy is coming from, and if you've got super, they might try and capitalize last minute, but no real reason to. I think both these teams will probably agree to just to rematch this game. Oh,
that was so close to getting the elim on Tara there, but doesn't quite happen. It is going to be a draw. It is going to be a rematch, so Clash not taking this set just yet. But one more game, and that is exactly what's going to happen. Oh, I really thought that Tara was going to get eliminated there, Ark.
It was almost a really, really big mistake there, actually, on Wave's part. There was no real reason to go there. Like, you know, nothing was going to change the fact of replaying the game. That was very, very close, you know, of going a bad way for Wave, for sure.
All right, so Wave get the first star. Obviously, that is the advantage. If both teams sit back and do nothing now, that is the win for Wave, but there's still plenty of time left this game, and that Bo is moving in, does get hit by the Brock, so Brock knows his position, but the Bo retreats again, so we're back to just charging our supers, are we?
Yeah, it is the way to be. You know, it's kind of frustrating to watch, in my opinion, and something that I definitely can agree with as being something that maybe not the best to view, but it makes sense to do this, and as pro players in the competitive scene, you know, you're not going to be asking or expecting them to do something other than what is going to get them the best results. And this is it, you know, this is how it goes, and a lot of back and forth here. It's actually going to be Wave that come out of this interaction on top. IK's on 8 HP, but now Clash needs to come back and push and be aggressive, and that's a good position for Wave.
It is, for now, still 40 seconds left, and Clash are making a solid push on the left side there, with Tara and Brock leading the way. Brock's super is ready to be fired. There it goes. Hits that Bo and that Jackie beautifully. They need to push now to capitalize on that damage, but it looks like, no, the health has been recovered, and Clash are sort of flailing about, trying to get bits of damage onto Wave, but they don't know exactly where they are.
I honestly cannot believe that Treble did not connect as well as I thought he was going through that super, but now Suck and Clash have drawn 7 stars each, and we might see another replay, but Bo surviving there.
It's gonna be another tie arc. Unbelievable. That is 2 draws in a row. The set continues. Clash cannot quite take this one down, and that goes to show how evenly matched these teams are, Ark. This is the most evenly matched match that we have had all night.
Yeah, we do see a lot of draws in Bounty. I thought that wasn't actually going to end in a draw. I really felt like Clash had a really good number of pinches there and opportunities to capitalize and just gain that lead. It didn't quite happen. I kind of wonder whether moving forwards into the future of Brawl, we will see some rollings around draws in Bounty coming into play. And, you know, for me, the ideal way of doing that would be to decide whoever collects the middle star would get the victory. But for now, we're going to do a rematch. Nice. It is still Clash that have the 1 game advantage over Wave.
Oh boy, I just cannot believe what we're seeing right now. 1 star advantage, yep, they're up with Wave. Clash are going to need to make some sort of push. Bo getting quite a bit of damage in on the Jackie there. And Tara coming in with the super, but it doesn't pay off. Tara gets weak, it has to retreat. And now Clash are going to have to recoup their health before they can make another push.
Yeah, great deal of back and forth, but nothing really availed into anything changing the score there. And here we go. Back to charging our supers and back to breaking up the map. And we'll see whether... I think what Clash will probably try to do now is approach from both sides here. And unless they pop that Tara gadget here, they're not really going to have too much of an idea as to where Wave are hiding right now. And there it is, Gear popping that gadget, as do Wave as a return. So now both teams can see exactly where they lie.
Yep, absolutely. Still 0-1 this game though, Ark. No real progress has been made. A Clash just going to sit back and let Wave take this one with that starting star. They need to do something now. Now is the time to strike. They can all push, and they're going to, led by Tara with the super. Does get the pull on and takes out the Jackie. They now have a 1-star advantage. Brock with the super. That's a 5-star advantage. And Clash are going to take this set after 1 game win and then 2 draws. They finally get there. And that's going to be 1 set each.
And what a way to do it. Doing it in style, the little spins, the dances as well of joy there from Clash. Again, like I said earlier today, Clash are playing really, really patiently, and it's paying off for them. You don't want to rush in and make mistakes and be impatient. You want to take your time and get it right. And that is what we're seeing from Clash right now. They are getting it right consistently, time and time again. And now, leveling the scoreboard. We're 1 set apiece now.
We are indeed. And I think this is the first time we've seen that tonight. Or one of the first times that we've seen that tonight. Anyway, as it's going to go to Brawl Ball, so don't blink or you may miss this, depending on how the players like to play this. On this map, you can actually stick the ball in a really awkward position and just prevent the opponents from getting to it. If you have a 1-point lead, we'll have to see if that's a strategy that the players go with. As no, that's nowhere near a goal.
Yeah, no Sprout today from either of these two teams yet either. That would actually really lock down that strategy of cornering the ball.
corner.
But yeah, but I mean, looking at the comps, there's not really going to be anything that Clash can do about breaking the walls to try to free up that ball. They're just going to try to power it through with the double tank kill, as the pull is good from Wave, but I don't know whether I like that idea of breaking their own defense there, Valkyrie. I think that's probably a bit of a misplay for me, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, that's never an ideal position to be in Brawl Stars, but in Brawl Ball rather. But now the push comes through. All 3 members of Wave are alive and kicking. Only Rosa remaining for Clash.
Wow.
And now there's a straight run for BB to go for the goal. If she can get past the Poco and just about threads the needle and walks it in. That's going to be the first goal for Wave.
I genuinely thought that was going to be a defense from Clash. I felt like the knockback was well timed. It just was threaded. I believe it was by Nova King, and it was a very, very tight placement there. And Wave did a good job of getting that goal, because it was actually quite a tight and tricky maneuver to do. And now look at this, very much different playing style that we're seeing from Wave. Very aggressive, and it's definitely paying off as they pretty much get a team wipe there. Nova King on his own as well, getting in a great pinch from this side. This is great from Wave.
Yeah, absolutely. Wave have really shown that they know what they're doing this series. This is insanely close, but they have the marginal advantage thanks to this 1 goal in the whole match. If they can just defend for the rest of this game, then they are going to be in front. BB, they're going to try and put back the Bruce, but there you go. Wave doing exactly what I was talking about. That ball is in the corner, and look how much work this Rosa has to do to get the ball out and get it into the goal. It's not going to happen. Wave are going to take the first game this set.
Wow. That's going to go a long way into putting Wave into a better spot mentally. At the moment, like, it can go either way. They needed to get a good start in Brawl Ball to kind of get their head back in this game. With Clash taking the previous set, there's a lot in their minds right now as to how this is going. And, whether we'll see any changes in the comps. We've seen Clash changing the comps quite a lot today. So that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's going to be Mr. P and Anita this time for Clash alongside the BB. And Mr. P's suitcase is already dealing quite a lot of damage. Look at that, bouncing off of BB and hitting the Gene. Although, Wave are the ones pushing right now.
Yeah, I mean, right now they're in a great spot, and Nova King, if they've been just popping the gadget, that's going to give him additional healing over time to put even more pressure. Didn't really quite get enough value. He could have probably gone a bit more on the aggressive there, actually, potentially wasting that gadget, in my opinion. But now you see Clash are going to be coming on the counter push. Definitely like the changing up of going towards Nita and Mr. P here. I think that was a wise decision to do for this second game.
Clash on full defense mode now as Gene with that pull gets so much damage on the BB, who narrowly survives. Clash's Nita does take out Wave's Nita though, and now it's the final push. Look how much damage Wave have taken. Their defenses have been destroyed. This BB doesn't quite manage to find an opening.
Not quite, but again, I'm not too sure of this strategy of breaking your own defense. That is the thing that is going to prevent the ball from going through, especially on a map like this. You really need to keep that in play, and Clash forcing Wave's hand to get rid of that, I think, is really going to go into the hands of Clash over time if we continue to see this continued aggression here.
Yeah, for sure. There's Wave are properly on the defense now. No goals scored yet, but don't forget, if the score is still 0-0 when the timer hits 0, we hit sudden death and all of the barriers on the map get taken down. And if the ball is in the position it's in right now, that would heavily favor Clash.
Yeah, absolutely. Going into overtime, if things remain the same and they can't get this ball out of this position, then this is a good spot for Clash to kind of get a team wipe and then just score a really easy goal here. So, this is looking like it's going to go down to the line here. Chaos going in, gets some damage, and this is a great chance as iChaos is now going to heal in that side area. Look, watch this go down. This is a great spot for Clash.
I'm just speechless. It was a great spot for Clash, but most of the members of the team have been eliminated. Wave have complete control of the ball right now. Gene with the pull takes out Mr. P. Nita is trying to do this on her own, and thanks to the bear, does get a lot of damage in, but BB survives. And now Wave's Nita is going to be dealing some damage too. I don't know where this is going to go, Ark.
Well, this is the thing. This is why Trevor's pick of Mr. P here is going to really come into play, because every time it spawns one of those porters, it means that Wave have to deal with that, which means stopping healing, using their shots to take care of it, and they can't heal up fast enough in overtime now. So it could go into their hands, but there's 25 seconds. They've got to get a team wipe now if they're going to really be able to do anything about this, and it might be happening for them if Scarex goes down here.
Yeah, Mr. P and Nita making a good push there, but BB comes in to defend the Gene. Does manage to do some good work here. 10 seconds remaining. BB's going to go for it. Whiffs, and that is looking like it's going to be another draw.
Oh my goodness me. This is just so evenly matched. We can't get enough of draws right now.
Yeah, I mean it's almost unbelievable, but we're playing Brawl Ball, a game that can end instantly, but that one went on for as long as it possibly can and was still a draw. Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, these games can be over in a flash, and we're not seeing that at all.
Wave still slightly ahead here. 1 game advantage. If they win this game, that's going to be a second set for them. So Clash are going to have that on their minds as they are getting wiped out. That Nita is doing so much work, just single-handedly trying to maintain the center. Takes out the BB, going to take out the Gene as well. Not quite, but now with their own BB's help, maybe Nita can push this ball forwards.
Yeah, I like the positioning there. Trevor Super pushing up gradually and popping the gadget, which gives obviously that additional damage and HP boost to the porter. The pull again, we're seeing, and now Trevor's being able to walk through the middle, and this could be a chance. Oh, it is! Clash score again. I don't feel like pulling a brawler through that barrier is doing Wave any favors at all.
Right. Well, yeah, that is. You tend to want your own barrier defending your goal generally. We know that much. But either way, that is what they've done, and they're going to have to lie in that grave now as Clash are fighting to get that ball. Mr. P looked like he was getting really close to grabbing it a few times there, but didn't get there, and now Clash pushing Wave right the way back. They don't need a second goal.
They haven't brought the ball up, though.
No, they don't need to. As long as they can.
Aggressive. I know they could have finished it though. Now they're going to bring it up.
I mean, that is amazing. When you can properly get that teamwork in Brawl Ball, where you can line up your team so you can just kick it from one player to another and just walk it in. Oh, it feels so good.
Well, then we are now level in Brawl Ball, but it feels like it's been going on for a lot longer than any of the battles that we've seen today. And again, I think that goes a lot to the testament of how closely matched these two teams are now that we've reached the grand final. And you know, it's really difficult to know what way this is going to go now. We've got one set on each side, one game on each side. It's really kind of as close as it can possibly be right now.
Absolutely. It is. It is insane how close this is. And what? Okay, Rosa already got the ball. Rosa going to go for it. Doesn't quite walk. Can Poco walk it in? Oh, Poco does manage to kick it in. And Wave takes a very quick lead on this game.
Yeah, I mean, what a contrast. We're seeing going so back and forth. Clash seemed to be in control, and now we're seeing Wave with a bit of a comeback. I think the Poco pick for me, though, is going to really struggle on defense. And there we see Scarx going down. The swap from Jean to Poco, I'm not too sure about, Daniel.
No? Well, we're going to have to see if it works out, Ark. Why don't you like it? Oh, hang on.
For that reason there.
For that reason there. Wow. Poco not quite able to defend quite as well as Jean did, and that's going to be a goal. That's 1-1. Clash really putting their foot down and saying they don't want this game to end here.
You need some knockback. Clash have gone with BB, which was going to cause their opposing team to drop the ball, and that's what Jean does so effectively is using that super to get the pull, to leave the ball on the pitch to be picked up by someone else, and that is a really, really strong mechanic, that knockback. We see as Wave might get a goal here. It's defended off the line. My goodness me, that was close.
Need to manage to put a stop to it, but it's not over yet, Ark, as Rosa and Poco still pushing. Mr. P able to put a stop to that Rosa, and Poco is having to retreat. And now this is what this set all comes down to. Nita kicks that ball forward. They need to get a second goal, and that is what they're pushing for. Waiting for the spawn. They're going to need to wipe Wave one more time and then push that ball in.
Yeah, holding on to super here, intentionally so, waiting for that invincibility to run its course. He'll probably look to get the ball up using the Nita Bear with the stun. I imagine he's still got Gadget. He's waiting on it, so he might still have it, or he's waiting on it to apply it for a better time. It didn't feel like it was the right time to push. He probably might be saving that for overtime, maybe. We'll have to keep a close eye on that, but this is a great spot, nonetheless, for Clash if they can just heal up now. As we go into overtime, the box, the fences have gone down, the bushes have gone down, everyone from Clash has super now, and Wave at low, it's got to be said.
It's all coming down to this arc. I can't believe how insane this game is, how insane this match is. As Rosa does get taken out by Nita, that is vital, as Nita and BB now have a clear run-up. The super being used to keep the ball to BB, and BB scoring the goal. That is going to be game and set to Clash, who now have a one-set advantage over Wave. And oh boy, that was... These sets are insane. Can we see more draws? Is that possible?
It could have literally gone either way until the final 5 seconds, because that Rosa had super. If they were able to get that super shot off and it was on target and not intercepted, we would be seeing a different story right now, but we're not, and we're going to be going into Siege now with Clash having a 2-set advantage over Wave.
Okay, let's try. I'm just trying to calm myself for just a second, Ark.
Don't do it. Don't do it, Falcone. Just let it go.
Trying to calm myself because this match is nuts. 1 bolt, 2 bolts banked by Clash. It's going to be 3 if Rosa can grab that one. Yes, it is. There's a 4th one there. BB is going to do her best to grab that. Oh my goodness. There's already a level 4 attack from Clash and 1 bolt in the bank for them for the next one. What a start.
IKEA just rolling supers off back to back there, and if I know Clash, and I think I do, they're not gonna probably, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're just gonna go in and they're gonna retreat. Yeah, rightly so.
You got baited.
Yeah, I thought they were just gonna go in and just go all for it, but they did come back. It's better to retain that mid control, in my opinion, now, and just keep the bolts coming in and forcing Wave to just kind of like keep having to defend in that respect.
Oh man, all right, well, 4 bolts banked, 5 banked now thanks to that Rosa, and they're going to fight over this one. It looks like Wave's BB is going to get that. Jackie going to fight Rosa for the bolt on the right-hand side. Doesn't manage to steal it off of her, so that is 4 banked for Wave. This game is getting pretty close. If this siege bot doesn't do the job, then it's very possible that Wave get an amazing siege bot next round and actually win because of it.
Yeah, but as you started that sentence, Clash banked 2 bolts, giving it a 3 to Clash, 4 to Wave. So actually now they're only able to retain 1 bolt from the mid here to tie it up. And look at this. They've pinched Wave into a bit of a cluster, allowing Trevor to bank on the left-hand side. And I think this might end in a draw, or maybe even in favor of Clash now with good control. I think this is going to be Clash's game for sure right here.
Yeah, I mean, look at the bolts that they've managed to take control of now. 10 bolts. That's going to be 11 if BB can... Oh, sorry, it's 11 already. 12. Wow. Jackie banks that one. That's a level 11 siege bot. The 12th one not quite counting. But there is just... I mean, okay, so Wave can try and go for a quick base rush right now, but it's not going to work, as that siege bot is going to rip Wave's Ike apart.
It could have worked, but it was a little bit too late. I feel like if Nova King had gone in earlier, what they were trying to do was time their deaths.
Okay,
yeah,
fine.
Yeah, exactly. They were trying to time their deaths, because if they can tank the damage from the siege bot, it means that they can then prevent that damage going onto their Ike. And by going in to get as much damage, to die intentionally, to then stop that defense is a good strategy. It was just a little bit mistimed and a little bit late under the circumstances.
All right, we're moving on to set point arc. This is the 3rd set. Again, it's best out of 5. So, and Wave did actually already win a set. So we are going to see set 4 for one of the few times today. But set point coming up for Clash. If they can lock this one down, they're going to be in a fantastic position moving forward.
Well, if they win this next game, this is match point, I think, isn't it? Like, if they win this, they win the whole thing.
Wait, is it? Well, Wave did win a set. Remember, this is only set 3. Isn't it? Yeah, this is set 3.
You could well be... Yeah, it's hard to know with all of these draws, to be honest, where we're up to in fairness.
Well, yeah, that's what makes it feel like it's been a lot longer than it actually has been. Either way, Siegebot coming in from Wave now, but does get held up by the Rosa and the Jackie, and yeah, it's going to be stopped short of the Ike. Just about, doesn't deal any damage, so Clash still in a good position here.
Yeah, I mean, if it keeps going their way, though, you know, this is looking in a great spot for Clash to capitalize here, as Gear with great super sucking all 3 members of Wave into it. That was an amazing display. I do feel, to be honest, though, like, Jackie's super is just a little bit underwhelming in terms of the shield abilities, and as a result, did go down quite quickly there.
All right, well, it's going to be level 5 Siegebot coming in from Wave here. And sorry, I've just had confirmation. This is match point. My mistake. Wow, these games go fast. Time flies when you're having fun, Arc. Clash need to put a stop to this. They want to win the match. They're so close. But the Ike takes so much damage, and Frank and Rosa coming in are dealing it thick and fast.
What an attempt there. Wave got shut down, however. It looked like a great push, to be fair, from Wave. It was a very strong push, but now look at this. Clash have got 8 bolts in the bank, soon to be 10. There's literally nothing that Wave are going to be able to do to win this siege. And look at the cancellation from Guille as well there. It's just looking so good for Clash, as they got a level 12 coming in now, and Wave have got to do something about this.
Looking at it, ripping Rosa to shreds, and now it's going to be BB taken out. It's got its eyes on the next play. It's got its eyes on Frank, and now it's got its eyes on the Ike. 3 seconds left of the game, but wait. Wave win!
What?
Yeah!
What? How did... That was an amazing defense. I did not see that coming. I
don't know what happened there,
Ark. State of panic and shock as you, Falcone. I watched that thinking they'd be fine with this push. What an amazing defense.
All right, well, that is one game each this set. It could all come down to this. Clash need to win it, and they win the match. But if Wave win it, then it's going to be even moving on to the final set. Here we go. Let's waste no more time.
I gotta hand it to Wave, though, like, not giving up in the face of something quite daunting to them. And like I said before earlier today, that Clash do like playing Siege. They practice a lot in Siege. We've seen them time and time again doing some incredible displays of turnaround in Siege. So, definitely I would say for me, they're feeling quite at home. And look at this. Complete domination of the mid in the first round. A level 3 Siege bot coming in for Wave to defend.
Yeah, nice position to be in, especially as they even have one more bolt banks for the next Siege bot than Wave. So they are in a very strong position now moving forward. The Siege bot makes its way to the Ike. Frank is going to defend it, but I don't think Clash care too much. They have control of the center. They have the bolt advantage. As long as there's no disasters here, they can just slowly and calmly collect these bolts and get an even bigger Siege bot next round.
Gotta love this this strategy from Trevor. They're growing the bush down the center of the map, just to kind of spread out the ability of him being able to heal. 6 bolts in the bag for Clash. Wave now looking like they're starting to deteriorate here. This could be another really solid push for Clash. Level 8 coming in. It could all be over right here if this is a good push for Clash.
And a good push it's looking like at the moment. I'm surprised to see the BB here not pushing, but I guess they're prepared for if they need to make that next Siege bot.
Yeah,
oh,
smart.
wow, yeah, Siege bot gets annihilated, and Clash only have a very slight lead in the Ike health totals.
Well, down just went one of Wave, I think a second. Oh, no, King did win that side. Wow, I didn't think he was going to, but it was smart by Clash to do what they did, holding the mid control, not going in for that push might be able just be enough here to give them either a draw of the round.
Dow just want to fight on the right-hand side with 8 health remaining, and that was vital in getting the correct amount of bolts. They won by 2. It's going to be a level 7 Siege bot. Wave are really going to need to pull this out of the bag to win this one. Already, their Ike's health is going down 60 to 74. They need to be pushing. They need to be rushing the base, but BB and Rose are coming in to defend. Ark, this is looking like it's it.
It's all over. It's got to be all over. It's Clash that are going to take it. Clash win, and they are our champions.
Falcone, we knew they were favourites coming into this Clash. They're huge names globally in the Brawl Stars scene. Are you happy with our winners?
Yeah, incredibly so. It's great to see a talented team like Clash perform consistently as they have been. And honestly, I'm looking forward to what they do for the rest of this year as well. But a fantastic performance.
Ark, do you think they can hold on to this and maybe even make #1 in the global charts in Brawl Stars?
Yeah, I mean, anything can change, of course, but one thing remains is that Clash do perform consistently, and that is the thing that we should look for in competitive. You want to see a team that just keep coming back, that just keep performing to the best of their abilities, and, I think that we're going to see some very, very good things from Clash throughout the rest of this year, and more than likely into next year as well.
And Trid, have you got any predictions for the future of the other teams that we've seen competing here today in Red Bull MEO?
Well, the largest continuous tournament that goes on in Brawl Stars is open in nature. So some of the names that appeared here who have yet to make it into the level of Brawl Stars Championship have all the potential to be able to do so. And there's been some good players to keep an eye on, especially some teams. So I'm extremely interested on how the future will pan out for them.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. And I'm just going to reiterate a point that Trid said there. There is so much potential that we've seen here today on Red Bull MEO. You have seen some of the current stars and some of the future superstars of Brawl Stars here on today's show. Thank you so much for watching.